Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Reports of the Chiefs being washed were a little premature. Patrick Mahomes threw 3 touchdowns last night in Kansas City as the Chiefs dominated the Commanders 28-7. In college football, number 1 Ohio State's a 20.5-point favorite. Buckeyes host 3-4 Penn State Saturday at noon. Ryan Day is going to hold his weekly press conference today at noon. We'll carry those comments live on the Fan when he hits the podium. OSU's next game at Purdue next week was announced Monday as a 1 o'clock kick from West Lafayette. In college basketball news, 4-star point guard Marcus Johnson decommitted from Ohio State's class of 2026 on Monday. The senior from Garfield Heights committed to Jake Diebler back in 2024. And in soccer last night, FC Cincinnati beat the Columbus Crew 1-0 in the first leg of the first-round MLS Cup playoff series. This update is sponsored by Green & Sons, family-owned and operated for over 45 years. Find your next Kubota tractor at Green & Sons, located in Mount Sterling and north of Marysville in Raymond.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy.
Good buddy, Austin Ward.
My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Tom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 9:30. Ryan Day turns his attention to the Nittany Lions and an old friend in Jim Knowles. We'll get into the motivation behind all of that. 10 o'clock, we hit you with the real truth. Will a coach on a current playoff team leave that team for another job? There's several instances where that could come into play. Uncle Dom's going to stop by at 10:30 for his hijinks. 11 o'clock, a little bit of the NFL Blitz. 11:30, the Jackets part of 2 back-to-backs. Home tonight, or I'm sorry, on the road tonight. Or is it home tonight? Home tonight? Road tomorrow?
Buffalo tonight.
Road tonight, home tomorrow.
Home tomorrow. So roadie, then a homie. And then don't they have another one Friday and Saturday too, right? Back-to-backs? One day off in between?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
That's where you stand on that. I was thinking this morning with just kind of everything that has happened here in the last week or so, last couple of weeks on the college athletics side, I started thinking a little bit about how much is too much? As the sports have continued to grow, men's basketball and obviously football continue to grow and the money keeps pouring in on all sides of it, I remember talking with James about this. This is probably like right as we started to get whispers about NIL being possible and free transfer being possible and all of these things being possible and the money's exploding. The television money in the SEC and the Big Ten is exploding. And this is 5 or 6 years ago. And he and I kind of came to the consensus that the only thing that would slow down all of this is the self-correction from the boosters. The people with the deep pockets. And one of the things that you know about people with deep pockets is they tend to not to like to lose money. Even if they have a lot of it, they don't like to lose it. And so the thing that they look for is ROI. So what's my return on my investment? That's kind of the consistent thing that we're looking for. And one of the things that I thought would happen in the first couple of years of NIL is that there would be a self-correction coming from boosters that would say, yeah, we're just not getting our money out of this. The other thing that I was curious about is if there would be some sort of a reaction from institutions and boosters on compensation for coaches. Because everybody cries poor. Everybody said, where's this money going to come from? How are we going to do this? We got to cut sports. We got to do this. We got to do all of these things to make it all work. None of it's happened. None of it's happened. It's 2025, and none of this has happened. We're into this a while now. In the last 2 weeks, we have seen the Pennsylvania State University scratch a check, or not all in one big lump payment, but they're going to be paying installments of $50 million to James Franklin. Over the weekend, Brian Kelly was fired at LSU. The governor was involved in that. It's just a crazy story. They don't have a president right now, so the governor of Louisiana actually was part of the decision to fire Brian Kelly. And part of that deal is they have to pay off $54 million. Every penny of his contract is guaranteed. So he's going to get $700,000 a month for the next till 2031 or something like that. I mean, he's going to live quite well for a very, very long time based on a contract that was given to him by the athletic director who is currently still there. So that guy still has a job, which that's a whole other situation on that. We've had a Jimbo Fisher buyout of over $70 million that's happened. Meantime, on the NIL side of things, it appears that the numbers just keep going up and up and up, and there's no real pushback on any of it. Because if you do push back, then you'll just go find the funding somewhere else. What got me thinking about this is what's happened on the Ohio State basketball side the last week or so. So you get this commitment from Anthony Thompson, the 5-star kid who's from Lebanon, Ohio, who plays at Western Reserve Academy up in Northeast Ohio. You get that commitment last week. He's the highest ranked commit that the Buckeye basketball program, depending on the service you pay attention to, since either D'Angelo Russell or Jared Sullinger pick. Either way, it's been a minute since they've landed somebody like that. I don't have the exact details on this, but my hunch is that he was given a big sum of money to put his name on the line, which is dotted. And guess what? If Ohio State wouldn't have done it, Kentucky would have done it, or somebody else would have done it. There were people lining up to meet, and I don't even know if they were his demands. They may not have been. It just might have been the price of doing business for a player that good. So yesterday, we get the news that Marcus Johnson, Northeast Ohio, 4-star, top 50 player in the country, Garfield Heights kid, really nice player. You get the news that he decommits. Now, it could be, and I read Jardy's piece, it could be that when he met with Jake and the guys, maybe he didn't see eye to eye with what they wanted out of him as a player or how they envisioned him playing at Ohio State. That's the only people who really know the real truth on that are Ohio State and Marcus Johnson and his family. But I also think that if you are that family, and this is of no fault of their own, this is the business that we've chosen. If you're them and you start to hear about whatever financial windfall became Anthony Thompson, the 5-star, you might say, hey, I want some of that. We got to get closer to that number. I guess my question is, on the coaching hire front, and we may have to deal with something like this with Brian Hartline, who's rumored at Penn State to be on the list of candidates to be the head coach at Penn State. And by the way, if Brian is offered the job at Penn State, he's got to take the job at Penn State. I don't want him to leave. But my God, it's Penn State. That's a Cadillac job. That's one of the 12 best jobs in the country. If they offer you that job, you want to run a program, that's as big a program as you can run, is that one. And so if they are serious to court Brian and he's on a list and he's a finalist, then you got to do it. But then if you're Ohio State, if it's a negotiating ploy, how much do you continue to pay? When do you get a point where you say, we cannot pay offensive coordinators that type of money? When do you get to a point where you're boosters and you say, we cannot pay that 4-star any more money to induce his signature? We can't do it. Is there a tipping point on any of this ever? Because, guys, I got to tell you, we're years into this now, and there doesn't appear to be. It appears, if you've watched the legendary series Arrested Development, it appears there's always money in the banana stand, that it's always there, and it never runs out. And I guess I underestimated the stomach for spending of the ultra-wealthy boosters at these type of programs. That when push comes to shove, pride, in the words of Marcellus Wallace, F's with them, and they write a bigger check. That's where we're at. There's no slowing down any of this right now. And it's cool, like it's free market. You're worth what someone's willing to pay you. I don't begrudge anybody. If you're looking at people to point the fingers at the athletic director at LSU, who for some reason is going to be allowed to make another hire after a mistake like that. Point the finger at that guy. I don't point the finger at Brian Kelly. Someone was willing to pay Brian Kelly that money, so he did. I don't fault Marcus Johnson, and I want to be very clear. I don't know that this is all that this is. I don't. I don't have any idea if this is the number one motivating factor in a decommitment a couple weeks before National Sign Day. I don't know that. And I want to be very clear about that. There could be a million things behind the scenes that we don't know. The only people that know that are Jake and his staff and the Johnson family. That's it. But the one thing that is surprising, one thing I do know is, to this point, all these years into this, we don't have any pushback. $50 million buyout? Blush. Sure, let's do it. We got to get another coach at 7 years, $75 million? Yep, do it. I underestimated it. I got it wrong. I thought there'd be more pushback by now, guys, and there isn't.
Well, I don't think at the time anybody could have seen what was going to happen with all of this. I don't think you could have, if you just said, the highest paid coordinator in the country is Jim Knowles making over $3 million as a defensive coordinator at Penn State, people would have been like, wait, what happened? What is going on with this? And I do think for, a coordinator at Big State U, the next logical step for said coordinator is the head coaching job at Big State U. If that's not available, then the coordinator would like to go to a greener pasture at another Big State U. And I do think that at the current position for the coordinator, the money is this. And if the money is if there's an issue with that, then I would say best of luck. Best of luck going to that job that you, to your point, need to take. Because if you want to be a head coach in college football and the job you want isn't available, you've got to take the job that's there. Now, it turns out in some situations, the jobs that are available are pretty damn good. So if you think you can get one of those, go. And the money will be there. The money's always going to be there. I think that's the one thing that, maybe looking back on this 10 years ago, you say, well, the money's eventually going to run out. Nope. It's actually going to get more because, and I hope this doesn't happen, but if they don't get the money from private equity, the money will be found someplace else.
I think that's the thing. And part of me wonders if this first recruiting here of everything in the first cycle of these guys getting fired is going to maybe eventually they won't do that, but this is the first time. So they have all the money to do it. The boosters don't mind doing it once. Is there going to be a second and a third time? I'm not sure, but it is pretty crazy. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. From 2000 to 2012, 9 FBS football coaches were fired in season before November. There's been 8 this year. The buyout money is already $60 million more than has ever been spent. So we are seeing a crazy, crazy thing here in college football.
It's college sports. I always think about the ROI, and you think about the best example of this is probably Cooper Flagg at Duke, right? That's probably the best. Everybody knew who he was when he was 14 years old, and he goes to Duke, and he wins National Player of the Year, and he does all of the things that you're supposed to do, but they don't win a championship. If you're one of the folks at Duke in the booster situation, and you wrote the check for him, and let's say it's $6 million, $5 million, something like that, did you get your ROI on it? And he's probably the best example of someone that you could because of how famous he was. But if he's getting 6, who on that team was getting 3.5? And what's your ROI on that for 1 year? That's the thing that's so tricky about this. And the only people who can answer all these questions are people who are, for the most part, not employees of universities, but rather interested boosters incentivized. They're the only ones that are going to be the governor on this because we are nowhere more near to a fix on this now than we were 5 years ago. It's exactly the same as it was. There's no legislation. There's no leadership. It just keeps happening in the exact same way with no end in sight.
And I don't think it's coming, that leadership or legislation.
No. There's no momentum. None. How about an 18-inning game in Game 3 of the World Series? I can't even blame this one on start time. And included in this is one of the most stupefying stat lines I've ever seen that was coming off of maybe the greatest individual performance I've ever seen. We'll get to all of that coming up next. We're off and running on a Tuesday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars. parts for kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Wouldn't you want to drive into the new season with a brand new Honda from Germain Honda of Dublin? You can lease the 25 Honda Accord LX for just $199 a month or finance at 3.99% APR. Or the 26 Honda CR-V LX all-wheel drive, leasing from only $319 a month or finance from 4.99% APR. These fall deals are fantastic. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or you can shop online anytime at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Columbus, the Blue Jackets schedule is out. And you can lock in your seats with ticket plans starting at just 11 games. Don't miss a moment of the action. Visit BlueJackets.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Do you suffer every time you try to wear good-looking shoes, but you don't want to wear ugly shoes just because they're comfortable? The Good Feet store wants to help you wear heels, boots, and dress shoes again in comfort. Trade in your bad feet for good feet.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
The Jackets hit the road for a battle with the Buffalo Sabres. Live fan coverage starts Tuesday night at 6:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan.
Hey, football fans, it's November in Ohio, and you know what that means. It's time to face that state up north in a battle to claim forgotten funds. Join us in the statewide challenge and visit com.ohio.gov/radio to help support Ohio's takedown of Michigan. The state with the most searches wins. Who knows? Unclaimed funds could help you buy a seat to the big game next year. Claim your money today at com.ohio.gov/radio.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Enjoy the beautiful day before big changes on Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies, breezy, and temperatures getting up right around 60, so that will add a bit of a wind chill. And for tonight, mostly clear overnight with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. For Wednesday, increasing clouds throughout the day with chances of rain increasing the second half of the day. It will be breezy again, and highs will struggle to get into the mid-50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. The Fan, Ohio Ohio sports destination. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
What did you guys watch last night? Because it was all on.
Yes.
It was all of it. It was everything. It was overload. Where were you, Reese?
So I early start, 6:45 for Crew FC Cincinnati, and then the Cavs and the Pistons started at 7. So I had Peacock and FS1 up until I think FC Cincinnati scored in the second half, and I thought, all right, 1 goal is probably good here. Turns out it was. Then I went over to the World Series. So I had the World Series and the Cavs up. Then once the Cavs were putting away the Pistons in the third quarter, I went over to Monday Night Football.
That's a good job of navigating out of you.
Yeah.
You're like
I
Magellan.
think I fell asleep after the 21-7 from Mahomes, and the World Series was still on. And I looked at my TV now, and I guess the World Series is still going on.
They played 2 games. How about you, Bake?
So I did not get home last night from here and everything else going on till about 8 o'clock. So I turned on Monday Night Football. It was starting as soon as I got home. I ate my dinner, and I was probably asleep at 9. So I had Monday Night Football on.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. I woke up just shy of 1:30 having to go to the restroom and looked at the phone, and it said 14th inning of the World Series. And I'm like, well, why didn't it tell me what the final was? It just said it was going to the 14th inning. And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. It's live. And then they played another hour and 15 minutes after that.
There's no better I'm a man, I'm 40 line than what you just did right there.
Yeah. Probably.
Woke up at 1:30 in the morning to go to the bathroom, and the game was in the 14th inning, and you thought, because you're at that point, same thing, except it was 4:25 when I woke up and had to use the restroom. And I'm pretty good about not even having the phone. I don't even want the temptation of something that I could have missed, so I just don't even look at it. I had basketball practice last night. I got home about 9:15, and I flipped on. At that point, the rest of the stuff was done that I was interested in. The Crew were done, and the same thing with the Cavaliers. And so what I was curious about was the football in the World Series. And so I turned on the football at that time. It was going to half 7-7, and Washington had just scored. McLaurin gets the catch to tie it at 7. And so that goes to halftime. I flip to the World Series. I flip in time for an Ohtani double that plates 2. Actually, no, Glasnow was on the hill, and what I turned on was him giving up the 3-run bomb. It was right there. And then Ohtani hit the double that scored the run. And then I saw Ohtani's home run, the second one, as it turns out. And I was in bed, as is customary for me on a night, by 11 o'clock, because there comes a point where you say, my wife was like, well, should we put this on in the room and watch it in bed? I'm like, I can't get sucked into this. Like, this could go forever. And it turns out it did. It went until 2:45 in the morning. It took 18 innings. Freddie Freeman, who has a penchant for doing this, just walking off in the World Series. Now, I guess when your lineup goes Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, you have pretty good odds of that happening. But in this game, Shohei Ohtani, who is the greatest baseball player who ever lived, full stop, went 4 for 4, scored 3 runs, hit 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 2 doubles, and was walked 5 times.
Toronto had to wait
in a game.
Yeah.
In a game.
Toronto waited too late to walk him.
I just watched, just had 10 walks.
Like in the 7th inning, I think, after he ties things up, they're like, all right, now we should just walk him. It's like, no, you should walk him every time he's up there. I get it. Like, Freeman and Betts are also there, but you walk Ohtani.
It's crazy because, like, in the games in Toronto, he struck out a ton. And, but then so he's basically perfect in his last 2 games at Dodger Stadium. Because he had the 3 home runs in the clinching game of the NLCS against the Phillies, where he also was the starting pitcher, right? So he did that and struck out 10 in the clinching game. And then he returns to Dodger Stadium last night and goes 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and 5 walks in an 18-inning win. This is the greatest performance anybody's ever seen on this type of stage.
His last 7 at-bats at Dodger Stadium, home run, double, home run, double, home run, home run, home run. Throw in 5 walks as well. And, oh, yeah, get some sleep because you're on the hill tonight.
He's starting?
He's starting tonight.
Jeez. I do wonder if he'll pull people, if his greatness is pulling people in, like who otherwise wouldn't watch. Is this becoming a water cooler conversation? Is his greatness something that can bust through this concrete wall of staying in our silos and only watching things that are fed to us? Will this be something that transcends the concrete wall?
I don't know if it is, but it's a shame that it isn't.
It's crazy.
And shame on me because the first thing I thought to turn on when I got home was Monday Night Football. Never once did I think of, hey, the World Series.
I don't, and they were it's well documented. I've said many, they were my team as a youth. I don't know if I would have went there if the timing wasn't such, because my initial thing was Monday Night Football. I looked for that right away. I turned it on. I looked for that. It's 7-7 at half. And the only reason I bounced off is because it went to half. And then I remembered, oh, yeah, the World Series is on. And then I flipped to it and found it. There's obviously no precedent for any of this. And what you just did on his at-bats at Dodger Stadium it's impossible. It's like playing a video game on Rookie and just hitting it out all the time. It doesn't even make sense.
It's Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl.
It's Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, that's what it is. When he's at Dodger Stadium. Meantime, that's crazy. So Game 4 tonight, and Ohtani gets the start in that one. It was an incredible game. There was a bases loaded in the 12th that Kershaw got out of with a little grounder. You think about all the greatness that he's had. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, obviously. All the greatness he's had in that uniform, but to get out of that jam now, he's doing spot relief duty and all these things in his last season, and he came in there and he got him out of a bases loaded jam in the 12th. The Chiefs are, to the other game, the Monday night game from last night. Clearly, the Chiefs are a team to be reckoned with. Not that we didn't know that, but they are. You feel like as good as they've been, what I saw last night from Mahomes reminded me of Mahomes like 3 years ago. His ability to drift in the pocket, left, right, deep, and make throws across body. Hit Rashee Rice on one in the third quarter where he just bought all sorts of time. He's actually backpedaling and throws it back across the field, across his body, and hits Rashee Rice, and Rice goes up and picks up 20-plus yards on it. It feels like he's Austin Powers with his mojo again, for the kids who remember that.
Yeah, on a night where I think Travis Kelce tied for the Chiefs all-time receptions record.
It was touchdowns record. It was touchdowns. He tied Priest Holmes. Yep.
And the interception that Mahomes throws is just right off of his fingers.
Yeah.
But they're the Chiefs that we remember from 3 years ago. This is the Chiefs that won back-to-back Super Bowls and that went to back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls. And this is the squad that we had been saying since the beginning of the year. Yeah, if they become this, then there's not many teams stopping them. And so it's like Indianapolis, you might be our only hope.
Yeah, their weaponry they have, Bake, is now because now you got Rice back, Worthy's coming along. They got the two-headed running backs. Kareem's still running so hard.
And Bo, I was thinking last night while watching that game, the little bit that I did, I was thinking, man, our pick for Kansas City in the Super Bowl is looking better and better. And shame on me for not being there all the way with Indy yet. But if Indy plays the Chiefs in the playoffs, I'm not worried about them at all. It feels like the only thing they have to worry about is maybe Josh Allen getting over the hump, and I'm not even sure about that.
So on November 23rd, the Colts are at the Chiefs. That's a 1 o'clock on CBS.
Oof. I wonder if that could be flexed.
I was just about to ask that question. Could they move that to the 4:25? But
in the old days, they would, Reese. I don't know if they can still flex as openly as they used to be able to. I'm not sure how that works, but you'd want that in the 4:25 window if you're the National Football League.
Sunday night, even.
Yeah. I know that they've given the networks a little bit power to reject the NBC push for Sunday night, so I know that that's not quite as... It used to be automatically those go into Sunday night, but I think CBS and Fox flexed a little bit, so it's not quite as malleable as it used to be. It's Penn State week. It don't feel like Penn State week. Usually this is one of the weeks. It doesn't feel that way. Is that something that we ought to be a little bit worried about? You'll hear from Ryan Day on that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
For 48 straight years,
Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the number one selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you're a sports card fan like me, you've got to check out Midwest Cards in the Arena District, right outside Nationwide Arena. These guys are true collectors themselves, and they've built a shop that lets you experience card collecting in a whole new way. They've got sealed boxes, packs, single cards, signed memorabilia, and plenty of TVs in their lounge. Yeah, they have a lounge. And don't forget the card bar, where you can open packs while you have an adult beverage. It's awesome. Stop by Midwest Cards today and tell them T-Bone sent you.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, we've got a problem at Pella.
I like where this is going.
Because of Pella's reputation and quality, a lot of folks assume that we're out of budget.
Oh, that's too... Oh, I hate hearing.
But we've actually got 5 awesome window lines that fit any budget, from the $300,000 to the $3 million home, and far from the most expensive.
So you actually don't have a problem. Awesome.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
We all plan to be on time, but fender benders, damaged windshields, and slick roads can quickly disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans that work for you and help keep you on track. To get started, find an agent at shelterinsurance.com. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday edition of the program. It is Penn State week. Normally, this would be one that you circle the calendars and say, good grief. These are some of the greatest games that I can recall covering. They're some of my favorite games to watch. It's a rivalry that, I don't know, sometimes I think I care about it more than certainly people at Penn State do, certainly people in administration at Penn State do, and certainly more than James Franklin did, although he is now certainly gone. But it has always been, next to the Michigan game, the 1A game that I want to see. And this one has provided so many classics through the years. I loved it at night. I thought that was such a cool tradition, whether it was over there or over here at night. We've done Scarlet Outs with them. We wore the Wolf Gray uniforms over here for that game. And obviously a whiteout in Happy Valley against Ohio State is an all-time atmosphere. But this year it's a little bit different because Franklin has been relieved of duties and Penn State, a monstrous team on paper when this season started, has fallen flat on its face. Drew Aller's not coming in here. James Franklin's not coming in here. They'll still have the basic whites and the black sneakers and all of that stuff. But other than that, they do not resemble what we thought Penn State would be. Now, one of the boys on the way to school this morning asked this to me, Dad, they still have all their talent, don't they? And I said, well, they don't have Aller, but yeah, they still have Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, and they still have all the defensive talent. And yeah, they still do have all of that. And so when you see a line that's approaching 3 scores or over 3 scores, you say, gosh, that's a lot. But the reality is that this Penn State isn't that one. Now, do they have a great performance in them? Yeah, I'm sure that they have a great performance in them, and I'm guessing that this will be their Super Bowl. For Ohio State, though, you're coming off a bye. And Ryan Day has been excellent coming off of buys in his tenure. He's excited to get back at it. Let's start from this sound from Roundtable last night. Coach Day on being at home and being in front of the home crowd again.
Yeah, we miss being at home. 3 of our last 4 on the road, so can't wait to get back to the Horseshoe. And yeah, last time Penn State was in the Horseshoe, it was rocking, and it's got to be the same way. We got to force them into a silent cadence, off the clap, and got to be the most hostile environment. So yeah, we're going to need everybody. We've had great crowds this year. The environment, the atmosphere has been as good as I've seen it in Ohio Stadium so far this year. So we got to keep that going. We got to be at our best, and that's everybody involved.
So in terms of the second bye week, remember they had one earlier back in September as well. So this was the second bye week of the season. The fellas asked Coach how he attacked the bye week. Here was Ryan's answer to that.
That's exactly what it was, yes. Yep, a little bit of both. So we're out there practicing. Guys need to keep their edge, and that's really important. But we also need some guys to come on, and we're able to get some good depth. Had some really good physical practices Wednesdays, Thursday, and really worked on our fundamentals. Got a little head start on Penn State, so now it's back to work.
And this Penn State team, despite no Drew Aller, which is a big despite, they still have a ton of talent, still have a bunch of NFL players on their roster. Ryan Day, well aware of that.
First off, very talented, extremely talented. Just from top to bottom, one of the more talented teams in the country. And I think we all knew that going into the season. It hasn't gone that way, or exactly gone the way that they wanted to, but doesn't mean that the talent's not there. And so, they've had a bye week, and I thought they played really, really hard at Iowa. Tough start for a young quarterback, but we know we're going to get their best swing here, and we've got to have a great week of practice.
True or false, next to Texas, this is the most talented team they've played so far?
False. I think it's Washington.
I think Washington's the most dangerous.
Well,
What
the
do you think,
quarterback's
Vic?
definitely more talented wearing purple.
Yes.
No offense to Ethan Grunkmeyer, Ohio Columbus's own.
I think we need to separate here with what we've seen on the field because not always is the most talented team the best team. This was a team, like we talked about, was in the college football playoffs last year, was ranked number 2 to start the season. I think this probably is the most talented team. Now, is it the best or dangerous team with what's happened on the field? Maybe not, but talent-wise, yeah, I would think it is.
They lost Tyler Warren and they lost Abdul Carter from that team, and they didn't replace either with talent.
That's it. I think you're both right. I think it's nuanced. Washington's is much scarier. You could maybe argue that Illinois was more scary than Penn State because of the way they're going about their business. But I do think you could say that Penn State, and it's interesting because I'm comparing them to Texas, who is a mess right now. But if you could just go look at top 100 NFL prospects, my hunch is you could combine, and I don't know this, I haven't done it, but my guess is if we had the MIT kids do it, if you found a list of top NFL prospects, that Penn State might have more top 100 NFL players than Illinois and Washington combined. That might be the case. They might have the same similar talent as Texas and not too much less talent than what we have here. Now, you're right. The big part of it is they don't have Aller, who was pretty clunky to start the season, to say the least. The thing that's most shocking to me about Penn State is all we heard, what I assumed Penn State would be, is like 90% of what Ohio State was last year offensively. I thought that they would lean on those two backs, and I thought they would bludgeon you with Allen and Singleton and run it to pass it and be a physical punch-you-in-the-mouth team. They have not gotten anything out of Singleton. He's a local kid. He was a 5-star tailback, and they haven't gotten anything. They have not gotten it going. It seems like with the injury to Aller, they committed to get Katron Allen going a little bit, and they did in last time out against Iowa. I think he had 145 yards, something like that. So they finally got him going a little bit. But in terms of their identity and what they are, I have no idea. I have no idea what we're going to see here on Saturday. No idea. I don't know what their plan's going to be. I don't know how they're going to go about their business. I don't know what they're going to rely upon. The part that I do know, though, is there is a lot of residual talent there. They weren't number 2 in the country in the AP at the start of the year for no reason. They were there because they had a bunch of talent. Now, they haven't played to the talent. Neither's Texas, neither's Clemson. All of those teams are in the top 5 in the country. You can have talent, but in this day and age, you also have to build a team, which is something Ohio State's expert at. But I think it probably is. I think just from sheer talent, they probably are. But not sure what you're going to get here on Saturday. But this has always been one of my favorites. I love the Penn State game. I think it's a shame that it's going away, that it's not something that you see every year going forward. And that's Penn State's choice, not Ohio State's. But that part of it disappoints me a great deal because I think this is one of the great matchups in college football that should be played every year.
Doing a quick look at the ESPN Top 100, they've got Denzel Boston as the 15th overall prospect, and then there are 3 Penn Staters on that list. So 3-1 in terms of Penn State's got 3 of them. A.J. Harris, their cornerback, and then 2 guys on their offensive front. Denzel Boston, obviously the highest of the four, but that's the top 75 and just doing that quick look. So, yes, Penn State's got more NFL talent, but just the manifestation of it hasn't been much. No. And losing Drew Aller, obviously you don't have the confidence that a quarterback making his third start, going to Ohio Stadium, playing the nation's best defense, is going to be able to do anything other than please don't turn the ball over. So it screams they're going to sit on the football, try to dominate time of possession, and hope something can happen defensively, that they can make this a one-score game going into the fourth quarter.
Scotty and I were talking on Sunday, and we were talking about the spread and it being 20.5. And you're like, man, that seems so big for a Penn State game, especially when the beginning of the season, this was a 3.5-point game. But when you sit back and you look at it, do you think Penn State can hold Ohio State to less than 4 touchdowns? And then the other, do you think Penn State can score double digits on this Ohio State defense? And when you sit back and look at it and think of it from that way, you're like, well, yeah, 20.5 seems right. But it just, from what we know and this team and what it was supposed to be, it doesn't compute in our heads for some reason.
What you just did is what I end up doing with Ohio State every week when we make our picks. That's how I approach it, is what you just did. I approach it, okay, can they get to 14? No. Can they get to 7? Maybe. Can they hold Ohio State to 28? No, I don't think so. And so that's how you end up at 20.5. They know what they're doing. That game you just did is what I do with Ohio State every week when we make the picks, is how many points can they score on that defense? And you think about Grunkenmeyer coming in here, local kid coming in here, making this start. They don't really have anything scary on the outside. I mentioned Singleton. This is the most stupefying. This is as stupefying as any stat in college football this year. Nick Singleton, 76 carries, 274 yards, 3.6 yards a carry. He was always a breakaway. His long carry on the year is 16 yards. He's only got 95 yards receiving. He's got less than 400 yards of total offense.
It seemed like every game when he was a freshman, he had a 50-yard run.
Yeah. And he came back, and he's, in his fourth year. I mean, this is his freshman year, 1,061 yards, 6.8 yards a carry, 12 touchdowns. Sophomore year, 752 yards, 4.5 yards, 8 touchdowns. Last year as a junior, 1,099, 6.4 yards a carry, 12 touchdowns. He's averaging 3.6 yards a carry. It's just a strange approach. But we'll dig into it more as the game goes along. And the other layer in this is defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, who returns on Saturday. What motivation is there, if any, to take on your former defensive coordinator, who did a pretty damn good job here, but it feels like you've almost unintentionally upgraded. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. Columbus, October is here, and with good weather comes more home improvement projects. Do you have old, stuck, or cracked windows that you've been putting off replacing? Well, Window Nation Columbus can help. This month, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 more for free. There's no limit to how many windows you replace, and your total price includes 1-day installation. With Window Nation, you also won't have to make any payments for 2 years, which is a big deal with the holiday season coming up. And did I mention you could celebrate your newly upgraded home with 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game? What other company in Columbus would thank you for replacing all your windows in your home with a fun experience like that? Put an end to your window problems before this beautiful fall weather ends. Now through October 31st, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free now, plus pay nothing for 2 years with Window Nation, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit windownation.com today to start your free estimate. That's windownation.com.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY. Then when he needs metal, he goes to Metal Supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on Metal Supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Hey guys, it's Bobby Carpenter here. Are you feeling low energy, trouble focusing, less interest in the things you used to enjoy? How about this? Less strength. It could be low testosterone. Affinity Whole Health is offering free labs to check your testosterone levels. These labs, they're normally $99, but in the month of October, they are free. Sign up now at feelgreatcolumbus.com. Learn why I and thousands of other men trust the experts at Affinity Whole Health. Go to feelgreatcolumbus.com and feel like yourself again.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
It's Thursday Night Football on the Fan. Catch the Ravens and Dolphins live from Miami. Fan coverage starts Thursday at 8.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey friends, Beamer here, and I'm a big believer in saying thank you when something actually works. So thank you, Awaken 180. And they're actually saying thank you back right here in Ohio with $500 off every new program through Thanksgiving. I started around this time last year, dropped 65 pounds for the holidays, and 15 more in free maintenance. Awaken 180 works, and now's the time to do it with $500 off. Thank your new self when you're 30 or 80 pounds lighter with the medication-free solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a blue refreshing Mountain Dew. So give me my blueberries, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
And you know, my friends, sometimes the best gifts are the ones you don't wait for a holiday to give. If you've got a Buckeye fan in your life, then Diamond Cellar is the place to go. They're the official jeweler of Ohio State. Their exclusive Buckeye collection is the real deal. From Blocko earrings to diamond script Ohio necklaces, the pieces are built to last. You show off that Buckeye pride every single day. And with luxury Buckeye jewelry starting at just $99, it's perfect just because surprise, or way to kick off the football season or the stretch run of the football season right now. Check out Diamond Cellar today and score the ultimate Buckeye gift. Tell them both sent you. They'll take care of you. They're great people there. Easton and Sawmill. Check them out. I got this from, we start off the show talking about this idea of we won't negotiate. And one of the things I mentioned was it's hard to separate what's fact or fiction with all of this stuff that's out there. But the notion of Brian Hartline and there being some interest at Penn State. So let's just take a step back and look at that. Do I think if I'm Penn State, I look at Brian Hartline and I go, yeah, there might be something there. Elite recruiter, pretty good offensive coordinator, young guy with energy, and it's addition by subtraction. You're taking one of the most valuable pieces off of the Ohio State staff, and now he's coaching your team. Never been a head coach before, right? Never been a head coach before. So there comes some risk with that too. And there's not a whole lot of precedent for your first coaching job being at a place like that. Ryan Day's first coaching job was here, head coaching job, but he had been the interim for Urban for a couple of games, and he was already in the building, so it was more of an ascent than it was anything else. I guess Kirby at Georgia. His first head coaching job was being the head coach at Georgia. So there's examples where it certainly works. Raheem with this on social, don't you think this was put out there as a distraction about Heartline the week we play them? No, because I've been hearing it for a couple weeks. I had a buddy of mine reach out to me if Brian would have an interest in it. I said, I don't know Brian well enough to know if he would or not, but it's Penn State, and my hunch is you would listen if a job of that size calls, you've got to listen. But I don't know what Brian's why is. I don't know if he wants to run a program. I don't know if he wants to try to be the head coach at a place like that. Only he would know that, and those close to him, that would kind of be it. We've already had some back and forth with the coaches. Remember, we got Larry Johnson. Urban got him in part because LJ was passed over for the head coaching job. He was one of the most loyal, best assistant coaches in all of college football. He was passed over for the head coaching job, a job that he felt that potentially he was perfectly suited to have. And if you're a Penn Stater, I wonder if you rethink all of that and think, gosh, maybe we should have just kept him and made him the head coach, because he has all the qualities you look for in a head coach: tremendous leader, charismatic recruiter, all of those things. But they didn't. He came here, and Ohio State was better off for it. This last offseason, it went the other way. Jim Knowles goes over there. And they viewed it as, this is the cherry on top of our season. Penn State approached this offseason very similarly to the way Ohio State approached last offseason. They went all in. They portaled as well as they could. They kept their roster together. They had guys like Singleton and others who came back for their senior seasons. All of those things happened at Penn State. And getting Jim Knowles was supposed to be the fix on all of it. What we could have told them, though, is that it takes a minute to get used to what Jim Knowles does defensively. It would be easy to come on here and make fun of Jim Knowles and all of those things, but I'm appreciative of what he did defensively, even while acknowledging that I think we're in a better spot now with Patricia than we were with Knowles. Both can be true. You can be appreciative for what he did to the defense, and he did do what he was hired to do. This became an elite defense under him. It became a national championship defense under him. He deserves his flowers for that. But then he turned his back and he went over there, and you can maybe not be pleased with the timing of that and trying to renegotiate in the middle of a playoff run. All of those things are well documented. But I am both appreciative of his time here and can't wait to see what this offense does against this defense. Ryan Day was asked about Jim Knowles and his defense. Here were his thoughts.
Well, Jim's always done a good job of putting his guys in a position to be successful, and so he's done that, and he'll have some curveballs for us, I'm sure. So it'll come down to us. It'll come down to how we execute, and we know that we've got to get our pads down. We have to win the line of scrimmage. We have to run the football. We have to protect, and then when it's time to throw the ball, we got to execute at a high level. So we'll be prepared, and make sure that we're focused on us. But he's always been very creative in how he's put together his defenses. But most importantly, he's done a good job of putting his guys in the position to be successful. So excited about the challenge.
Will there be a revenge component for Ryan at all?
No, at least I don't think so. I can't imagine. In that question, you brought it back to the team. You brought it back to the team that he is coaching. And he has done that every single week that he has been at a microphone in front of him. It's about us. It's really about what we do and how we go about our business. And I'm paraphrasing Coach Day, but since after the national championship game, it was about this team and what this team was going to do, much more so than who was across and who was opposing them. I think he thought about Jim Knowles, but once you brought in Matt Patricia, I think once you've started to see, in training camp, what Patricia was able to do with the ingredients that were in front of him, you were probably not. I can't imagine it bothered Ryan much past that championship celebration.
I think there might be a little bit. I hope there's not, because as we've seen in the past, when Ohio State goes into certain games and they think they need to do certain things to win games, or they want to go after people for certain things, that I think it tends to affect them on the field. So I hope there isn't. I hope you're right, Reese, but I have a feeling there might be a little bit in there.
What you're referring to is, that's it's the Back to the Future, right? The chicken thing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's Marty McFly. Like chicken, and then you can't handle it.
Yeah.
So what I think you're getting at is, what we don't want is, our way to prove that we're better offensively is to try to bludgeon you with blunt force trauma, and we're more physical and we're tougher. You've got a football Ferrari. Go drive the damn thing. That's probably now weather. We may have to watch weather this week. We're getting into that time of year where you got to pay attention to that. I think it's probably a little bit of both. It's probably I'm now dating a better looking girl with Matt Patricia, so I'm good. But also, I don't really appreciate your timing on all of that. That wasn't the time to do all of that. So I'm guessing it's a little bit of both for Ryan, and we'll see how it manifests in the game on Saturday. Will a coach leave a playoff team to be the head coach at another institution? There are several instances where it's a very logical possibility. We'll get to it coming up next in The Real Truth. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of our specialties here at Pella Wilson is getting rid of old, smaller windows with no view and replacing them with huge, beautiful windows that can change the look and feel of your home.
We tried that once, but we cut the hole a bit too big, so we had to put in a garage door instead in their dining room.
Wilson.
Didn't improve the view, but they do have a drive-through now, so you're welcome, Grewball family.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Wouldn't you want to drive into the new season with a brand new Honda from Germain Honda of Dublin? You can lease the 25 Honda Accord LX for just $199 a month or finance at 3.99% APR. Or the 26 Honda CR-V LX all-wheel drive, leasing from only $319 a month or finance from 4.99% APR. These fall deals are fantastic. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or you can shop online anytime at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turns, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Is your money just lying around? Switch to Huntington Bank, and your money's always doing something. Like auto saving for special events, tracking your teen spending, and helping protect your parents from fraud. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
The Ohio State University Army ROTC isn't just a curriculum. It's more than just a path to a degree. For more than 150 years, we have been forging tomorrow's leaders. Here you will find your purpose, your mission, your ROTC family. At Ohio State, you're not just joining Army ROTC, you're stepping into a history of excellence that spans generations. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu. Buckeyes lead the way.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Is there anything better than a college football Saturday? Not if you're at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Join the Fan for watch parties for the games this season. Oh, you got to check out the display case of amazing autographed prizes you can win. It's beautiful. 2 massive TV walls to watch the national champs. Watch and place wagers with over 30 kiosks. Contests, prizes, and live shows. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's officially fall at Firehouse Subs. The Thanksgiving turkey sub is back. This sub brings all the flavors of the Thanksgiving table into one crave-worthy bite. Stacked high with premium carved turkey, savory stuffing, and cranberry sauce. The ultimate holiday comforts in a sub. Hurry to Firehouse Subs today and try the Thanksgiving turkey sub before it's gone. Limited time at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants while supplies last. Planning a tailgate or game day spread? Firehouse Subs Catering makes it easy to feed the whole crew.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 1 Ohio State's back from the bye Saturday at the Shoe. Buckeyes are 20.5-point favorites hosting Penn State for a big noon kick. Hear from OSU's head coach today at noon. Ryan Day is going to hold his weekly press conference, and we'll carry it live on the Fan. OSU will play at Purdue next week. That game will be a 1 p.m. kick on Big Ten Network. In the NFL last night, the Chiefs beat the Commanders 28-7 in baseball. The Dodgers walked off on the Blue Jays in 18 innings last night in L.A. to take a 2-1 lead in the World Series. Los Angeles will host Game 4 tonight at 8 o'clock. In the NBA last night, the Cavs beat the Pistons 116-95 in Detroit. Cleveland's 3-1. They'll play in Boston on Wednesday. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets will skate in Buffalo tonight against the Sabres at 6:45. You can hear that game on the Fan with coverage at 6:15. Jackets are back at Nationwide Wednesday versus Toronto. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Tuesday. Uncle Dom coming up in 28 minutes. Time now for a little bit of the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
A coach will leave a college football playoff team for another job in college football. Is that the real truth?
Boy. As it stands right now, Dan Lanning would probably be the first call. I think he'd probably be the first call at LSU. He'd probably be the first call at Florida, too. Penn State, I can't get a very good read on in terms of what their expectation is or what they're hoping for. If you're Dan Lanning, do you leave Oregon for LSU or Florida? I would not. I would not. I think he's got it humming. I think he's got all the money that he needs. They've already proven that he can win in recruiting. They've proven that he can win in the portal. He's proven that he can win on the biggest stage. The only thing missing is a national title. Those are hard things to track down, but everything else he's done. Every box is checked. I think he stays at Oregon. I think Eugene's a hell of a lifestyle too. So I think you avoid the pressure cooker, all the things that come with LSU and Florida. So I don't think he does. Then you look at Lane Kiffin at 7. It's hard to imagine a scenario where Ole Miss doesn't make the playoff. The rest of their games are incredibly winnable. Now, he dropped a brutal one last year to Florida in the swamp that kept them out. They get their South Carolina at home, Citadel at home, Florida at home, Mississippi State. He could lose one of those, either South Carolina, Florida, or Mississippi State, and still be 10-2, and I think would still get in. But it's beyond that. What about Clark Lee at Vanderbilt? LSU calls. That's a better job. LSU's Cadillac. That's a Cadillac job. That is one to pay attention to. I think what we're going to get here is that this is the real truth. And that this will become a little bit more normalized. I think that what Luke Fickell did years ago at Cincinnati, staying on a team and then the 4-team playoff, and that won't happen anymore. That there's some things we're going to have to get used to in college football, and one of them is coaches leaving playoff teams for other jobs in college football. So whether it's Kiffin, Lee, Lanning, I think it's in play that that LSU job is so good that long term, can you really say no to it?
So is this the real truth? Yes, it's the real truth because it is going to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to happen this year? I'm not so sure. And, Bo, I think you left some guys out here. I think you left out Brent Key at Georgia Tech. I think you left out whoever wins the Big 12 conference, right? Whoever wins the Big 12, that coach might be in some consideration here for another job.
Who would that be right now? That would be BYU
right now
against Texas Tech?
Right now you've got BYU and Cincinnati is undefeated in the Big 12.
Okay.
Texas Tech right behind, Houston right behind, and then Utah and Arizona State kind of lurking there with 2 losses. So I think it's funny in all of this, I never think of Dan Lanning because I just kind of feel Lanning like Ryan Day isn't going anywhere, right? Like I just don't. Should they make the call? Yeah, all these schools should call Ryan Day. They should call Kirby Smart. They should call Kalen DeBoer. They should call Dan Lanning, right? They should call all of them. I just don't see any of those guys leaving, so I never even think of them and put them into consideration. I'm not sure it happens this year, but it's coming. And it's coming quicker than we think.
If you're LSU, and remember, they wanted to hire him for a different job before, do you offer Marcus Freeman $15 million a year?
Yeah, why not?
You offer him, yeah.
I mean,
I guess Marcus I throw in that book too, as he's not going anywhere.
I think so too, but I mean, he's already made that choice once. He was offered the LSU defensive coordinator job, and he was offered the Notre Dame defensive coordinator job. And Threes and I litigated it. And I said, my argument for LSU was, if Ed Orgeron falls on his face, you could be the head coach at LSU in 2020. 21. I mean, it was in play. Now, it ended up, ironically, that he went to Notre Dame to work for Brian Kelly, and then a year later, Brian Kelly took the job at LSU, and Marcus elevated to head coach at Notre Dame. So it ended up going exactly the way I thought, just at the different school, because the coach who was there went to LSU. But LSU's got the might in the $15 million range. That's a lot of cash to turn down. I mean, if you're them, don't you call Urban?
You've already called Urban.
And offer him $15 million. If you're Florida, don't you call Urban and say, come home, make it right? Not that Urban would do it. I don't think he wants to be in the snake pit, even for $15 million a year.
So right now, the highest-ranked Group of 5 team is Memphis. The Tigers are 7-1 and ranked 25th. Ryan Silverfield's their head coach. He is 45 years old. I do think if it were to happen, it would most likely be from one of those highest-ranked Group of 5 schools.
That's a good point out of you, Reese, because we're thinking at the top of the sport. We're thinking about the LSUs. Think about the Virginia Tech job. Think about all the other jobs that are open.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. That there's that part of it too. I think it's very much in play this year.
I got to give this before I give this statement. So Penn State is 90th in rush defense in the country. The Nittany Lions allow 158.7 yards per game on the ground. Ohio State will rush for more than 150 yards Saturday against the Nittany Lions. Is that the real truth?
How many times have we done that?
We're averaging 160 a game on the year.
Okay. Yeah, that's the real truth. And I also think it's going to be a point of emphasis. I think they got to get it going. I'm curious to see if they have some sort of consensus on back. I mean, it was C.J. Donaldson and Peoples early, then it became Bo Jackson for a while, and he kind of showed the most. And then Isaiah West came in last time out, and you're like, oh, there's something to him. I'm very curious to see what they found out about their running backs in the bye week. But yes, I think it will. I also think you're going to get ahead early and you're just going to run and put games away. I think that's in play too. So yeah, I think that's the real truth.
I think this is the real truth. I think so much that I almost switched the question to 200 yards because I think Bo Jackson's ankle is probably healed up here. Yeah. This Penn State run defense isn't great. I think Bo Jackson has a monster game this year, maybe his third 100-yard rushing game of the year. I still don't get why everybody's so worried about the Ohio State running game. I think it's just fine, and I think it will be fine. And I think the stats on the year, 160 yards a game, 4.7 a carry, prove that to me. Have there been some things here and there? Maybe so. But again, like we talked about, the last two games, Bo Jackson's been dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury.
Yeah.
I think he's their horse. I think he gets you to where you want to go. And I think Bo Jackson has a monster game this week in the shoe.
All right, we got time for one more. Do we want to do some more Buckeye talk, Browns, Bengals, or a Blue Jackets? Real truth.
We got Browns and Bengals coming. So let's do Jackets. We got Shelley time at 11:30, so we'll do some Brown stuff here in about 5 minutes.
All right, the Blue Jackets will trade Igor Chinikov on or before the March 6th trading deadline. Is that the real truth?
Yeah, I think so. I think they will. You just don't. It doesn't feel like there's any win in any of this, and he obviously wants to go, and there's a disconnect. So. I'll pose this to Jody when I talk to him in an hour and 20 minutes. But, yeah, I do think it's the real truth.
I do not think it's the real truth. And here's why. If they could have gotten what they wanted for him already, he would be gone. And the only way they're going to get that now is if he continues to play well like he has been here recently. And if he continues to play well like he has been, he's more valuable to the Jackets on the Jackets than whatever they're going to get for him. So best case scenario here for the CBJ is that Chinikov continues this 3 or 4 game stretch that he's had here. He continues to keep doing better. He gets in a groove. He plays like the top 6 forward that he was at the beginning of last year before he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, he's more valuable to the Jackets playing in the top 6 here and playing on the power play here. So I don't think he's going anywhere because if he does what he needs to do to get something of value in return, he's going to be valuable for the Jackets. So no, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's Jody. He's coming on at 11:30. We'll get his kind of view of all of that. It has been very, very bad for the Cleveland Browns offensively. But is it any worse than it was a year ago? Not that that's a warm blanket for anybody. We'll get to that coming up next. And what should their plan be for the bye week? Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but whew, you've accepted that. The Fan.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment?
On any Ford tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $200 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyears and save up to $200 more. See store for details.
Do you feel the nip in the air? Oh, baby, people think summer's driving season. They're wrong. You spend more time in your car this time of year taking your dirty, annoying kids to dirty, annoying things. Go see my friends at Germain Lexus. They have special rates as low as 4.49% on their most popular models, including the 2026 TX350. Lease a 2026 NX for as low as $449 per month. And if new isn't your thing, they have plenty of L certified inventory on the lot. Stop in and see them. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Getting the cold shoulder? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road in Grove City. Walk-ins are always welcome.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me so, Dana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24-monthly bill credits on Experience Beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Oak Cliff Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Ryan Day's Buckeyes are back at the shoe for a Big Ten battle with Penn State. And James Franklin's watching from his couch.
Damn, I love football. Live fan coverage starts Saturday morning at 6:30 with the Kick at Noon.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun, your way. That means every few minutes across Ohio, 20 out of 80 possible numbers are randomly picked. And if some of the numbers you picked match, voila, you're a winner. Keno doesn't require you to know a single thing about sportsball or overs, unders, pluses, minuses, or lines, or whatever else. Keno is as simple as, did some of my numbers match? They did? Great. You just raked in some dough. There are more than 20 hours of Keno draws every day and thousands of places to play statewide. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Enjoy the beautiful day before big changes on Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies, breezy, and temperatures getting up right around 60, so that will add a bit of a wind chill. And for tonight, mostly clear overnight with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. For Wednesday, increasing clouds throughout the day with chances of rain increasing the second half of the day. It will be breezy again, and highs will struggle to get into the mid-50s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we are proudly sponsored and brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Browns into the bye week. These are just some statistical accumulations. Daniel Oyefusi of ESPN putting this together. The Browns offense 8 games into the 2025 season versus the 24 season. So going back to last year, 8 games in. This year, points per game, 15.8. That ranks 30th in the NFL. Last year, through 8 games, the Browns 15.2, 32nd in the NFL. Yards per game, this year 263.5. That's 31st. Last year, 300.8. That was 28th. Yards per play, this year 4.1, 32nd in the league. 24, 4.6, 32nd in the league. Average EPA per play, it's the same. 0.14 tied for 31st. Last year, 0.14, 32nd. Success rate, guess what? Not good there either. 35.2% last year, 32nd in the league, 38.5%. Last year, 38.5. This year, 35.2. If you watch this team play, this all checks out. The thing that I think is going to be very interesting for the bye week, for going forward, is there a fix for any of this? And I think it's fair to be skeptical that there wouldn't be. Kevin Stefanski had his bye week press conference yesterday, A lot of pointed questions from reporters on what is not happening offensively. A lot of pointed questions about Dillon Gabriel. Let's start with how Stefanski is going to approach the bye week and what changes could they see.
Frustrating on a bunch of different levels, not to play our best, not to coach our best in that game. And then, just that frustration will lead to us looking at how to get better. And that's where this bye will be huge for this football team. We still got more than half of the season left, but we got to make some. Definitely have to look at it and as a coaching staff, look at it and find ways to set our players up for success. And that's what our sole focus will be this week.
He was asked some direct questions about the quarterback position, Dillon Gabriel specifically. Obviously, there's a lot of people clamoring for Shedeur Sanders. Here was Kevin Stefanski's answer to it's not just a Gabriel problem.
Playing good on offense is about 11 guys on the field and us as coaches doing our job. Obviously, young players will learn in each outing that they're out there. I think Dillon will continue to learn, will continue to get better. But it's really an entire offensive type of thing where we all need to be better.
Yeah, and I think the fair question for Browns fans out there, folks who cover the team, is, okay, how? How does that happen? What do you have up your sleeve to become better offensively? If you go back to August, and this was before even the trade, go back to July, before camp started, when they had Kenny Pickett, and we talked about the needle that they were going to try to thread to be successful this year was based on what? It was based on the defense being elite. Well, the defense has been elite. Now, it's more elite at home than it is on the road, and there's a bunch of reasons for that, but it has been absolutely elite. Okay, the number two thing that they were going to do is they were going to run the ball. They were going to run the ball with those backs. They drafted two backs. They kept Jerome Ford. They were going to rely on Quinshon Judkins. They've done that when they've had success. You think the win against Miami, you think the win against Green Bay, they did that. They were able to run the ball and then play action off of it. And then what you needed, and this is what they thought Kenny Pickett could do before they traded him, what they needed was a quarterback who just wouldn't turn it over. So if you think about that approach, that is a very specific approach. It's a very narrow view for success. It doesn't give you much room for error. You have to basically be perfect in the turnover game. You got to be perfect in the penalty game. And defensively, you've got to turn them over to have success because you can't chase that way. They don't have the weaponry to chase. They can't protect well enough to chase. They don't have the receivers to chase. They don't have the quarterbacks to chase. We don't know if Pickett could have done that or not. We never got a chance to see him play in this offense, so who knows? But initially, that was their plan. So if you think about them going into the bye week and assessing everything, what is the play for success? What is the adjustment you can make to become successful offensively? I don't have an answer because what they've been to this point is a team that keeps everything underneath, very rarely stresses you at all down the field. It feels like what the Browns are doing right now is offensively having to play the entire game in the red zone. There's a reason red zone's hard. It's hard at Ohio State because it's compressed. As it stands right now, offensively, the Browns are basically playing every offensive snap in the red zone. And so they have to find some way to unlock something down the field. And we know Dillon's capable of doing that because he did it at Oregon. We know Shedeur is capable of doing it. He throws a beautiful deep ball. He can layer throws. There's probably some things that need to be asked about that, and that's just something that's kind of mysterious out there. But guys, this is a quarterback room of Bailey Zappi and a third and a fifth round pick. There isn't Joe Flacco coming in to save you. There isn't a veteran. So if they're going to get better, it's going to come. Those rookie quarterbacks or Bailey Zappi have got to take massive leaps in order to get there. But they can't continue to play perpetually in the red zone like they've been doing the last few weeks.
I guess if that's the case, then you've probably the only thing you can really change right now is the quarterback. And I've waffled on this for a little bit because I don't think nothing in the NFL is fair, but Gabriel's been given 4 starts And I don't think with the talent around him and with the play calling being as all over the place as it has been. I mean, in the game against the Patriots, they did 2 trick plays in 1 drive. And they can't do the regular plays correctly. So I don't know what you thought kind of lightning in the bottle you were going to catch there. And so my ire goes to the play caller and to this team when you're trying to develop a rookie quarterback. It's just the structure is not there for that. So I guess if I still think you give Gabriel the bye week, you give Gabriel the start, coming out of the bye week. And I think you continue to see with him what you have, because I'm not 100% sold on Shedeur being any better, and it might be worse. Like, he might be able to push the ball down the field, but I think he's going to turn the ball over a lot more, just from what I've seen him at Colorado. But I understand that if they were thinking, we've got to see what we need, we need to see what we have with Sanders, then sure, give him the start. But you have to do it now, so you give him time, because this can't just be another, he's only started 1 game, because we just had that conversation with Gabriel. Or he's only started 2 games. Well, we can't be doing that conversation twice in a year.
Reese, you say that about 2 trick plays in 1 drive, and you can't even do anything normal, right? I think of this.
It's called a oop-de-oop. Oh, it's the oop-de-oop. Oop-de-oop.
Dummy-O's can't run a simple draw. But it's funny, we're talking about Dylan and Shedeur. Mary Kay asked Kevin that question yesterday.
Why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
And I think the only way Shedeur would work is if when plays break down, because Shedeur's more of an off-script type quarterback, I believe. Not that he can't do what Stefanski wants him to do, but we all know Gabriel is more of that type of quarterback that Stefanski wants for his offense, make your read, throw the football. But I do think Shedeur, when plays break down or if something isn't there, he could give you something. I just think it's proven with Joe Flacco going to Cincinnati and all of a sudden he can throw the ball downfield. I just don't think this Cleveland Browns team has any down the field threats right now. Their receiver room is probably the worst in football.
I mean, you are what your record says you are, and you are what the numbers say. I mean, so this is 2 years in a row where you've been the worst offense in football. You're talking about 2 seasons where you just haven't been able to do it offensively. They obviously didn't put a big onus on it in the draft. I mean, they went defensive tackle, they went off-ball linebacker, and then they went Quinshon Judkins. So their big swing at weapons on the outside was Isaiah Bond. I mean, that was it. Now, he's a second, third-round talent, but that was the swing. That was the swing at the weapons conversation that they made. So they must have thought that there was a way that they could manufacture offense and wins despite this. I want to give one more thing to you guys. I want you to consider this. Myles Garrett with the 5 sacks yesterday now has 112.5 sacks. That is the most sacks prior to his 30th birthday in NFL history. So he's got 112.5. Reggie White had 108. Jared Allen had 105. TJ Watt has 101. How many possessions of Miles' career has he attempted to sack the quarterback while his team is ahead by multiple scores? Juxtaposed to how many snaps has TJ Watt attempted to sack the quarterback while his team was up multiple scores?
It's got to be 4-1 in favor of Watt, right?
Of course. The idea that he's done this while, for the most part, playing from behind in his career is even more stupefying when you consider that. That the Browns are the ones having to... He is playing a lot of second halves of football, fourth quarters of football, defensively, where they're trying to run the clock out and just get it over. Makes it all the more impressive what he's doing in the middle of it all. We'll do a little Tuesdays with Tiberi in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on select varieties of Kroger brand cheese. 6 to 8 ounce packs are only $1.79 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of the biggest reasons people get new windows, Wilson, is that old windows make for an uncomfortable house with crazy high roller coaster energy bills.
Leslie, people love being uncomfortable on roller coasters. The ups, the downs, the gurgling in your stomach because you had 5 corn dogs before getting on.
Did that happen to you, Wilson?
What? No.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
When you need a mini excavator or a not so mini excavator, lean on Green, Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and hardest working equipment experts in Columbus, we can help you take a big step toward a mini excavator in one of 17 different sizes, from 2,000 to 18,000 pound machines, with 6 to 24 feet of reach and 5 to 15 feet digging depth. Though in the most rental locations, and it's no wonder the Columbus builders who are building Columbus lean on Green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Thanksgiving, as we know, is right around the corner. And what better way to say thank you than $500 off to a thinner, healthier you? Now through Thanksgiving, Awaken 180 is giving our great listeners $500 off your program. Visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
College is great. You know what else is great? Pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of the Ohio State University. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
All right, let me ask you this. Is Shohei Ohtani the greatest baseball player ever?
That guy's amazing. Every time I see him, he's hitting a home run. Unbelievable. This guy, and nothing phases him. And you're a Dodgers fan, so you're loving it.
Well,
you're loving it. Tell
I'm
the
not
truth.
as much anymore. I was as a kid.
You always,
but I don't watch
you
baseball.
always had that L.A. about you. Come on. You know that. When we went to L.A., you knew everywhere to go and all the cool places. You took me.
We did.
Where was that one place? Remember the night we went out driving around in L.A. and we got into everything. Yeah. You guys took me to that place where that movie was filmed, and then we saw
it was the Dresden.
And then we saw
Dresden.
Yeah, and then we were down in Rodeo Drive, and we saw what was the guy's name? That singer.
Did we see a singer?
Yeah, we did. I
remember we were we were going. We got honked at a few times, and I had to say a few choice words.
Yeah, I know. I tell you, you were like taking Syl. It was fabulous. If you know The Sopranos, you were like Syl. You were.
Well, I don't know. We had a good time. We had a very good time.
I have come to the conclusion of something, my friend.
Give it to me.
We are in the greatest football state in America. Can we agree the Pro Football Hall of Fame is here? Can we agree to that? That football.
I wish our pro teams were a little better.
A little? My goodness. This is a tragedy. I mean, I'm watching the Bengals and I'm actually excited. I'm going, all right, they're going to, and they lose to a team that hadn't won a game this year. I mean, what in the world was that defensive performance? And then the Browns, look, at this point of the season, and I think I speak for most Browns fans that are the most tortured fans in the world, just play Shedeur Sanders. Just play him.
Well, why do you think they're not?
I have no idea. Why? These are the same people that brought Deshaun Watson here, right?
Yeah.
So are you telling me I should trust what they're doing?
Oh, no. I mean, that's in the eye of the beholder, certainly.
That guy? Holy smokes.
Yeah, that one, it's crazy because
just play him. I mean, my goodness. All I will say is the guy was pretty good in college. Right?
Yeah.
Can we agree to that?
Yeah, so was Dylan, though, and that's been I just think it's so much more than quarterback.
I was never a big fan of Oregon. I was never a big fan of his.
We've always thought they're soft, didn't we?
Yeah, come on. What are you talking about?
Do you think that the football gods
are punishing us?
You can have one or the other. The Buckeyes can't be great and the Browns and Bengals be great. So we've had this incredible run of Ohio State football that goes back I mean, really, gosh almighty, 50 years.
I know.
Right? And you've been on the NFL side of things. The Bengals have played in 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
The Browns have gotten to a couple of AFC championship games, but never played in a Super Bowl.
I covered all those and watched them lose.
Right. Meantime, you've watched Ohio State win a lot.
Yeah.
And do you think it's possible the football god said, you can have the Buckeyes, but you can't have the others too?
I just can't believe that. I cannot believe that, with the money they spend in the NFL, that they can't figure this out. I cannot believe some of the things. How far do you think them taking Deshaun Watson sent this club back? I mean, they have a defense that I think was championship caliber.
Yeah, I think it's the Watson thing is really tricky. I mean, obviously he's had a ton of injuries.
Well,
the guy that they acquired,
the good news is he'll be healed up and he'll be back next year.
Well, he might get back for this year.
Oh, great.
I mean, if he, if the rehab is, you see videos of him slinging it around in the facility and stuff. I mean, it's possible that, I know he's in the meeting rooms and stuff. It's possible that he could play sometime in December. It's in play.
All I know is that it's just disheartening. You start every year I really thought the Bengals were a Super Bowl team this year. And then to watch that debaclement. And then let me just tell you this. This is the other thing that's got me a little irked.
Okay.
Everywhere I go, Dom, how bad are we going to beat Penn State and all this? Let me tell you something.
Okay.
This has been a season of chaos like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Go look at the preseason and week number 1 rankings. Go look at them and look at where half those teams are. 3/4 of those teams are now.
Yeah.
I mean, the first ranking had Texas 1, Penn State 2, and Ohio State 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Clemson 4.
Yeah. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And it has been a season of chaos. I'll tell you what, the transfer portal, NIL, has caused craziness. Craziness.
It's given us parity, is what it has. Because in the old days, you would have to stay at a place like Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia as a backup and kind of wait your turn. Yeah. Now, you can go play at Missouri or Vanderbilt or Indiana or any of these other places, and you can go play right away. And so it's basically taken away the notion of you have to sit for a while to play. That's what it's done. And that talent has been spread throughout the country now.
We can debate coaching all you want, but I looked over Penn State's roster. Obviously, I was not a big fan of their quarterback before he got hurt.
And that's because you don't like Ohioans.
Well, what? No, that's not why. I just thought he was overrated, my opinion. But they have some 5-star talented players on that football team.
Yeah, there are 3 of the top 100 in the NFL draft. They got 3 of them, which is more than anybody else we've played other than Texas.
Yeah, and so here's what I'm saying. Ohio State's, a 20, 21-point favorite. Everybody's thinking, they're going to go in there. This is going to be great. Let me tell you something. The second you start believing that, and I guarantee you what Ryan Day is going to be saying today, I don't want to hear that noise. Don't talk to me about I don't want to hear it, because weird things happen. If the Cincinnati Bengals should have won a game by triple digits, they were killing them, and they allowed a team that anything can happen. It is chaos. And I'm telling the fans out there, you better be ready, because I told Adam King the other day, there's nothing more dangerous than an injured mountain lion. What is that? I said, I'm telling you, these guys.
When have you encountered an injured mountain lion?
Let me tell you something. One time I was marching the
around Dublin.
That mountain range. I was out there, just me. I was doing a little Bear Grylls.
Out at Mad River.
Yeah,
Mad River. Do they have some mountain lions that I'm unaware of?
Listen, sir, you're from where they have grizzlies and mountain lions.
We have them. Yeah, I've seen them.
Let me ask you a question. If there's one injured, do you want to mess with it?
Not typically, but I don't really want to mess with a healthy one either, to be fair.
Yeah, well, these guys, it would make their season to come in here and beat the number 1 ranked team in the country, wouldn't it?
Well, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, you don't think we're going to get
Super Bowl?
You don't think Ohio State's going to get their best shot?
You are, but is their best shot good enough?
Is Jim Knowles going to give them the speech?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he has that in him.
He's got a little inside information, We'll see.
Yeah, but so do we.
Well, yeah, we know. Well, his defense is apparently pretty complex, and it's a 3-year process. You think he's going to get it?
You know, how do you come down on that? Because I led the show with this. I think it can be, or it was in the first hour. I think it can be both, that his timing of looking for a raise was ill-timed and off-putting. And also, I am appreciative because he did build a championship defense. Do you have ill will with him?
No, I like the man. I think he probably regrets leaving, and I don't know what the money was involved. I think it was not like generational money we're talking. I think it was in the ballpark, and you had built a system here, and obviously they had the top-ranked defense in the country. At the end of the season, they had some bugs early on, and Ryan Day got involved. But let me say this. With what I have seen out of Matt Patricia's defense to date, but then again, I was talking to a guy. How good do we know Ohio State is right now when you look at everyone they've played and the way the teams have struggled and stuff since,
they're pretty good.
I personally think, as I watch, my eyes don't lie, that we are beating, and we could beat everyone even worse. I think Texas had a close one the other day. They've had some.
Yeah, they're not very good right now.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Things can go south in a hurry,
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What are the grandbabies going for Halloween?
I don't know. I think
What, you don't know?
Well,
you got 3 days.
I think they're going to be Sonic or some kind of Minecraft stuff.
Now, do you dress up?
I did last year. I won't this year, I don't think.
What did you do last year?
Last year, I did my sports in front of their house while they were trick-or-treating.
That's right.
And then my daughter brought out a banana suit and said, Dad, put this on. And they said, yeah, go ahead, put it on. And then you know what it earned me? A spot on FTV Live where they made, this is news. Thank you.
So we're going to pass? You're passing on
I don't know. Do I want to make it again?
Let me ask you this.
I've been in FTV Live twice. That once, and then Yolanda one time wanted to wax my knuckles.
I thought that was going to go south. Thank God it didn't. Let me ask you this.
No, my knuckles.
I know, but the way that you said it, I thought it was going to go in a different way, and I'm glad you saved it.
What the hell do you think I would get waxed? I mean, come on.
Listen, you were saying it. I wasn't. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Get you out of here on this one.
Yeah.
When you were a little kid trick-or-treating, what was your all-time favorite candy? Because when I was a kid, there was a lady who gave out chocolate glazed donuts homemade that we'd go be around the block for. Was there one as you were a kid that you remember vividly as being the thing you were most excited for?
The big size Snicker bars. First time I got one, and then when we would change disguises and we'd go back to the house as many times as possible. Okay.
Just so it's noted, Dom just described his Halloween attire as a disguise.
Yeah.
That tells you all you know about this gentleman.
Let me tell you something. We would go out with pillowcases. Bucket my behind. We would go out with pillowcases.
Sure.
And we would go until we
just
would go
pillage.
past. Trick or treat ended at 8, sir.
No, not for you.
What time is it? It's 11. Trick or treat. Yeah, we didn't quit. We would get a stash. We would fill the pillowcases.
God bless you.
In a disguise.
All right. We'll do it again next week. Good talking to you, buddy.
See you, buddy.
There he goes. Little Tuesdays with Tiberi on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. It was very close. There were a couple of choices, and he could have ended in a very different light. There were a lot of things that could have gone south there in the last couple of minutes. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Fred's right here on the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay because whatever it is, it's on eBay and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
Another summer is ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Tri-State Men's Health and get treated for your low T. Because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. We have had some good weather over this fall. It's been mostly warm, but sooner or later, it's going to get cold. Maybe you're already starting to feel it in your house because your old drafty windows are letting in that air. Could be the builder grade windows that just came with your house. You thought you were getting great windows. It turns out they weren't as good as you thought. That's where Window Nation can help. This month, you can buy 2 windows and you'll get 2 more for free. There is no limit to how many windows you replace. Plus, your total price includes 1-day installation. Window Nation also has a deal where you don't have to make any payments for 2 years. Is that going to help out with your holiday bills a little bit? I would think so. And above and beyond all that, Window Nation also is giving away tickets to an Ohio State football game when you upgrade your home with Window Nation windows. Free windows, 0 payments for 2 years, all with Window Nation. Go to windownation.com. The estimate is free, the windows are great, and you can get Ohio State tickets. What's not to love? Go to windownation.com today. Once again, that's windownation.com.
Do you feel the nip in the air? Oh, baby, people think summer's driving season. They're wrong. You spend more time in your car this time of year taking your dirty, annoying kids to dirty, annoying things. Go see my friends at Germain Lexus. They have special rates as low as 4.49% on their most popular models, including the 2026 TX350. Lease a 2026 NX for as low as $449 per month. And if new isn't your thing, they have plenty of L's certified inventory on the lot. Stop in and see them. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
When the coach speaks, we listen. Ryan Day's weekly press conference comes your way every Tuesday at noon.
Sponsored by The Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact The Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Active military or veteran planning your next career move? Columbus State's IT programs prepare you for a high-tech career in Columbus's fastest growing fields. Our veteran services team will help you maximize your benefits and connect to a supportive campus community. Apply at cscc.edu/IT.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. When passion meets craft, you get High Bank Distillery Co. Home to award-winning spirits, exceptional dining, and an atmosphere that makes every visit unforgettable. Sip on their signature whiskey wort. Explore our handcrafted cocktails made with house-distilled spirits. Hungry? High Bank's menu is packed with locally sourced flavors from brunch favorites to dinner classics. Whether you're gathering with friends or discovering your next favorite drink, High Bank is the place to be. Visit their Grandview, Gehenna, and Westerville locations to experience the best in craft dining and distilling. Learn more at highbankco.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday edition. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
On Monday evening, ESPN's Pete Thamel reported both the University of Michigan and Wolverines head football coach Sharon Moore withdrew their appeals in the NCAA infractions case that centered on advanced scouting. According to the NCAA's Division I infractions dashboard, Moore withdrew his appeal in the case on September 29th. The university followed with a withdrawal on October 6th. The NCAA Committee on Infractions announced in August Michigan had committed multiple Level 1 violations in relation to impermissible off-campus scouting, the Connor Stallion sign-stealing scandal. Neither the university or its coach are fighting it now, according to the dashboard, thus officially ends the appeal in the case. Thing or not a thing?
This happened so long ago. The scale of it was so comprehensive. The investigation was so long. I'm going to be very candid with you guys. I don't even know what the penalties were on this. Did they ever come with official penalties? My thought always was that Harbaugh was Danny Ocean and he got away with all of it, and that there would be nothing that would ever land at his feet. and that the university would get nothing. I mean, we've always said that, and I think that's how it ended up, right? You got a couple of game suspension for Moore, a show cause for Harbaugh. Not much. I mean, I knew they weren't taking away the wins. I knew they weren't taking away the national title. None of that happened. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the moral of the story is here, it was all worth it. And I guess by Moore and Michigan withdrawing their appeal, they're acknowledging, yeah, we did it. And you got us, and we got it too. So it's one of the strangest cases, really, of how feckless the NCAA has become, and is.
Guys, I think we've known this for years, right? Cheaters win in sports. They're all cheating. It's just to what extent and how much. And I'm not saying that what Michigan did is right, because it wasn't. And they got caught, and they should face penalties. The penalties, though, for the most part, are pretty much nothing. I mean, Sharon's still got a suspension. He's got to serve the opening game of next year, right?
That's right.
When they're over in Ireland playing in the Potato Bowl or whatever it is.
That's right.
But, yeah, and listen, this is smart for Michigan, right? Almost as you said, Bo, except for the handful of diehard Ohio State fans that won't let it go and cling on to it, right? And they're always going to say that championship for Michigan is tainted. And they're not wrong. They're right. But it's still their championship. They won it. And I'm sure it was worth it, and they would do it again. But everybody else has moved on from this and forgotten all about it. So why would Michigan want to drag this process out even more and keep it in any kind of news cycle? So, yeah, just do whatever you got to do. Pay your fine, get his suspension over with, and nobody will ever talk about it again, minus a few.
Yeah.
I saw this yesterday afternoon, then forgot about it, and now just seeing it this morning. But Arch Manning did not practice Monday for the Longhorns, who prepare to play at Vanderbilt Saturday at noon. Sarkisian says the team would get an update on Manning's injury later in the week. Arch was injured in the first play of overtime in Texas's 45-38 win over Mississippi State. If he can't go against the Commodores on Saturday, graduate transfer Matthew Caldwell from Troy will get the duty for the Longhorns. Thing or not a thing?
In terms of from the Texas football team standpoint, having watched Arch play a lot the last month, and I watched the play where he got hit. So he's scrambling, and a defender from Mississippi State kind of dives at him as he's diving for the first down, and Arch dove head first, and the helmet hits right in the side of Arch's head. And as Arch goes to get up, he's down for a while. They took a shot of his folks, and they're pretty concerned. And then as he stands up, he's wobbly. And then the Caldwell kid comes in and throws a ball right on the screws in the back corner for a touchdown that ends up being the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So on the football field, I don't think it's much of a thing because Arch hasn't been playing well. Now, this was his best game to date, the game that he played against Mississippi State. They're hosting a Vanderbilt team that's a good squad. They're a good squad. But I don't know that the difference between this kid and Arch is going to be as big as maybe I would have 2 months ago. I think this Caldwell kid will be just fine in this game because Arch hasn't been playing that well all season.
There's part of me that wants to say this isn't a thing, but I think it is a little bit of a thing because it hasn't looked right for Texas, and we've all given up on them, but they're not out of this. So maybe this could hurt them if this kid comes in and plays worse than Arch, or maybe it helps them and gives them some life if he comes in and gives them a spark and shows a little something, as you just talked about, Bo. So I think it's a thing because Texas's hopes for getting in a playoff aren't dead yet. As much as we think it hasn't looked right and as much as we think they're cooked, they still have a shot at this thing. So I do think this is a little bit of a thing still.
You know, it's going to be really interesting. It's becoming more and more likely that if he does indeed stay at Texas and just progresses as, we used to in old college football, that he could end up being a 3-year starter for Texas. And we were talking, I never thought he was going out after his redshirt sophomore year anyway, but now it's possible that he's a 5-year guy at Texas and is a 3-year starter. That might be the case. And we might just have to take a longer approach with him than what we all thought.
NFL's trade deadline is 4 o'clock next Tuesday. On Monday, it was reported the Steelers signed wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling to the roster. The 31-year-old Valdez-Scantling reunites with Aaron Rodgers, whom he played with on the Packers from 2018 to 2021. Valdez-Scantling's best season was in 2020 with Rodgers as his quarterback in Green Bay. He had 690 receiving yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. The former fifth-round pick left Green Bay before the 2022 season to sign with the Chiefs, where he won back-to-back Super Bowls. Thing or not a thing?
It's a thing. It's Rodgers going to management and saying, I need more weapons. I need somebody else I can trust. I don't trust the weapons that we had. You saw him, his comments on that were said under his breath on the DK Metcalf, where DK didn't come up with it in one-on-one coverage. So I just think he wants more people that he can trust to throw the football to, as opposed to 75 tight ends.
Yeah, I think this is a thing because he's got DK Metcalf and he's got some tight ends, and that's it. He wants some help on the wide receiver room. Roman Wilson did make a nice catch the other day. I don't think anybody even knows who Calvin Austin is, quite frankly. So, yeah, I mean, it's a thing. Scantling has been a decently productive wide receiver in his career. Him and Rodgers obviously have a rapport with each other. So, yeah, this is a nice little thing for the Steelers.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the NFL, we blitz it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you've hit your medical deductible, now's the time to see Dr. Mark Levy. Get a custom oral appliance that stops snoring and helps you ditch that CPAP and pay less out of pocket. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com before the year ends.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, 1 pound packs of Private Selection 80% lean Angus ground beef chuck are only $4.99 each with your card. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
College football is more chaotic than ever. New rivals, new rules, and a brand new season of Fansville. Are you fan enough to handle the drama? Then grab an ice-cold Dr. Pepper from your local Kroger and buckle up for the season. College football. It's a Pepper thing. College football fans, listen up. You can catch Carnell Tate and Dr. Pepper on November 17th. We'll be at the new Kroger at 7525 Gardwell Street in Powell from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Stop by to get your photo with Carnell Tate. See you there.
Game day glory starts here, Columbus. The 2025 Polestar 3 long-range dual motor is built to win, delivering Scandinavian luxury, cutting-edge design, and up to 350 miles of range. Right now, lease yours for $699 a month for 36 months with zero due at signing. Visit Polestar Columbus on the Buyers Imports campus by the airport, the only place in Ohio where you can see, feel, and drive the difference. Monthly lease payment of $699 per month for 36 months. Offer expires November 2nd, 2025. See dealer for details or visit polestaroffers.com.
2 years ago, Bobby Carpenter completed treatments for knee pain at QC Kinetics. So we're checking in with the former college and pro football player to see how he's doing.
I've been asked a lot, like, how long does this last? How long does it work? I go, I've had mine for a couple years, and everything feels very good. It feels
just as good as it did when I started to turn the corner.
Bobby's an active husband, dad, and business owner. That's why 2 years ago, he heard about QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments, and he knew he could trust them for his chronic knee pain.
And thankfully with QC Kinetics, I was able to go through this, and my activities are the same as it was. I'm able to coach my kids in sports. I can play golf. I can go run.
QC Kinetics patients like Bobby don't miss a beat. No surgery or rehab, just freedom from debilitating joint pain. Ready for lasting relief from joint pain? Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
All month long at Twin Peaks, celebrate National Dessert Month with sweet endings like our Cinnamon Toast Crunch Cheesecake topped with rum chata sauce, or the Twin Peaks Sundae with a warm Ghirardelli brownie. Pair it with a Screwball peanut butter whiskey for the ultimate game day finish. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Looking for a bottle of the best blended whiskey in America? Well, look no further than High Bank Distillery Co. Their Whiskey War Barrel Proof won this prestigious title at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. That's the most prestigious spirits competition in the world. From their classic Whiskey Ward to Double Oak to my personal favorite, the Cigar Cask, there is something for everyone. Find a bottle near you and learn more at highbankdistillery.com. Drink the best, forget the rest.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Don't let your insurance benefits go to waste. End the year sleeping better with Dr. Mark Levy's oral appliance. No mask, no noise, just results. Hurry, deductibles reset soon. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com today.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. #1 Ohio State's a 20.5-point favorite, hosting 3 and 4 Penn State Saturday at noon. OSU's Ryan Day will hold his weekly press conference today at noon. We'll carry his comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium. Buckeyes are at Purdue next Saturday at 1 o'clock. You heard that right. 1 o'clock kick from West Lafayette between Ohio State and Purdue. In the NFL last night, the Chiefs beat the Commanders 28-7. Week 9 of the league begins Thursday in Miami. The Dolphins host the Ravens at 8:15. Lamar Jackson is expected to start for Baltimore. In the NHL, the Blue Jackets are 3-1 on the road this season. They're at Buffalo tonight at 6:45. You can hear that game on the Fan with coverage at 6:15. Jet Greaves expected to get the nod in net, and Shohei Ohtani will take the mound for the Dodgers opposite Shane Bieber for the Blue Jays in Game 4 of the World Series tonight at 8. LA won Game 3 this morning in 18 innings. This update is sponsored by Roosters. Roosters is giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences, tickets, sideline passes, trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Register today at roosterswings.com.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday edition. Time to blitz the National Football League.
Bishop and Friends present NFL Blitz.
Sponsored by Monogram Homes. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building.
I believe I had that. Reese, we'll start with you. What did you have?
I had the Chiefs minus whatever. You could have just picked it.
20.5. Didn't matter.
Sure.
I had that the Bears just aren't there yet. They were 4-2. Things were kind of looking good for them, but I'm still not a believer in them. I don't think they're a playoff team. I actually don't even think they're a team that's going to be fighting for that playoff spot. And then you play the Baltimore Ravens without a Lamar Jackson and all the trouble that the Ravens have had this year, and you get beat pretty handily. Chicago may be on the right path, but still a little ways away.
Yeah, I'll have a little bit more on that momentarily. I didn't have much, but one thing I did have is that the Indianapolis Colts are great. And they are. I mean, now we're talking about an 8-game sample size for the Colts. They really should be undefeated. Their only loss is the loss to the Rams, where they really have a couple of miscues, including a touchdown where if you just told Hondo it's a touchdown, they'd be 8-0. Their point differential, guys, is plus 116. 116 plus. The next best in the league, ironically enough, is the New England Patriots at plus 67. They damn near have them doubled up. They're real, and they're great. I I should have said they're real and they're spectacular. That would have really tied in. What didn't you have, Reese?
I was 5-8 this week, so I had did not have a great many things. I didn't have the Packers like that over the Steelers. I thought it would be a clunkier game than 35-25.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad job out of me because the Packers are really good.
I did not have the Texans beating the 49ers this week. It started off rough for CJ and the Texans, but they're starting to head in the right direction here. And, man, if it wasn't for the Colts just getting off to this great start, you would think the Texans could come back and get that division, but they still could come back and get a wild card here if CJ continues to play like that.
Yeah, I went 4-9 on the week, so not a whole lot to be proud of here after a great week the time before. I think the two that are most stupefying, though, for me was the 49ers losing to Houston, as Bake said. They had been on a roll, and you just felt like they'd go take care of their business, and obviously they did not in a not particularly close game. The other one that was just as stupefying to me, though, was Dallas's performance at Denver. The Cowboys have been playing really well offensively. They kept Dak Prescott with no touchdowns thrown. He threw a couple of picks, I think 189 yards passing. Like, just a really puzzling performance from the Dallas offense. Now, I know Denver's got a great defense, but I did not have that either. It was a rough week. Player who impressed, Reese, who do you got?
I had Justin Fields. So the Jets are bad, but they won their first game, and they scored 39 points, and Justin Fields led Gang Green on 3 fourth-quarter touchdown drives, and he did all of that. And after the game, I think I was most impressed with him, just how vulnerable and honest he was about how hard it was to hear from his owner, how hard this whole season has been for him and to him. A reminder that these guys are human, and it's, I think, very easy to root for a guy like Justin Fields, who's always been the consummate professional.
Have we played that audio yet of him at the dais?
I don't believe so.
Maybe we'll play that coming up next in the next because it's worth a listen, I think, for sure. Go ahead, Vic.
Player who impressed me the most was James Cook. I wasn't sure how good James Cook was. I was kind of thinking maybe Buffalo needed to get another running back to pair with him. But, man, James Cook, he was good last year, and he has just been even better this year. I understand it was the Panthers, but 216 yards on 19 carries, 2 scores, 11.4 yards a carry in that game. Every time I looked up Sunday, it looked like James Cook was breaking off a double-digit run and just everywhere. Josh Allen only threw for 163 yards the other day because he didn't have to. They didn't need to. Just turn, hey, if play one is working, keep running play one till they stop it. And that's what the Bills did.
Now him and Dalvin are the first brothers to both go over 200 yards in the NFL. They're the only brother duo to be able to do it.
I always forget that he's Dalvin Cook's brother.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a loss, but I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers here. I think what he showed me in Pittsburgh, because their roster's weird, their offensive roster's weird. I think what Arthur Smith's doing with, his first pass was completed to a guy wearing a number in the 70s. Like, they're just doing weird things offensively, but he's still got it. He made the throw to Roman Wilson. Last week he threw it 70-plus yards in the air. I think you can still win with him. I just think if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm really active at the deadline, and I'm trying to get another weapon on the outside because I think they need that. Or, look, they drafted Caleb Johnson in the second round out of Iowa. I know he made the miscue on special teams, but let that kid run it because you're not getting anything out of the run game right now either. And I think Rodgers is covering up a lot of bad offensively for them, even in a loss to Green Bay. He played very well. Player who disappointed, Reese.
It wasn't necessarily a player, but how things ended for Cam Scatterbo this season. Don't go watch the video of it because the ankle goes the way it shouldn't, but the idea that they were having such a fun run with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo, and for the Giants, it had to end like that.
Yeah, it also was devastating because we no longer can have Scatterbo. Bootsy doesn't want to do Scatterbo in the basement anymore against Beamsy, so that sucks, which I
that's
enjoy
a bummer.
So much to judge that.
A lot less blood to clean up in your house,
That's
though.
fact, yeah.
To me, it was Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has been a guy who's been a pretty solid starting quarterback in this league. I thought he was going to be jacked up to get another chance there in Atlanta this week, and he really wasn't awful. 21 of 31, 173 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. But I thought we were going to get a big game from him, especially playing the Dolphins, whose defense is so bad. For them to get boat raced by that Miami team, That is inexplicable. And I thought Kirk Cousins was going to have a day coming in there in backup of Michael Penix.
Yeah, that team's a mess right now. And it looked like they were finally going to have some momentum, and it all went away. I'm going to go Caleb Williams here for a lot of the reasons you mentioned, Bake. They have weapons. They've got a brilliant offensive mind. He's fine, but something's just off. He holds onto the ball too long. He drifts in the pocket too long, especially in the red zone. It just doesn't look right. And it kind of goes back into that conversation we'll have coming up next about Fields and the circumstances you're in and trying to overcome them. He does have talent, and it's just, I just wonder if they messed it up so bad in year one, will it ever get turned around? I don't know. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, Reese?
I'm going to give it to Shane Steichen. Not only are the Colts really good, he's got two legit MVP candidates, but he's also got the owner every home game just on the sideline in a headset. Like, I thought it was really, really bad at first that she was going to do that. Jim Irsay's daughter. It's hovering, and it's not a great look, but they're 7-1. So he's doing it despite that. I mean, imagine having your boss just hover over you for an entire show. No thanks.
I think that story's being undercovered.
It's so weird every time the camera cuts to her and she's got a pen and paper or she's got a notepad and she's taking notes in a headset. Like,
it's crazy.
Even Jerry Jones doesn't meddle that much.
Fish, don't get any ideas. Don't do that.
He's not listening.
No chance.
For me, it's Matt LaFleur. Going into Pittsburgh on a Sunday night is not an easy thing to do, especially when it's your former quarterback you're taking on. And I kind of had a feeling that Rodgers, and he wasn't bad in the game, obviously, but I thought Rodgers might go off in that game and the Steelers would get the win. And it kind of looked like that. They had a 16-7 halftime lead. But to stay the course there with Green Bay and to come from behind and win in Pittsburgh on a Sunday night like that, I was pretty impressed with Matt LaFleur.
I wrote him down too. I think not just getting the win, 5-1-1 now on the season for Green Bay, but handling the Rodgers stuff the way that he did and the way he got his quarterback ready. That was maybe the best game that Love has ever played. He was exceptional, especially in the second half of that game. That was big boy football by LaFleur. That really was. It was very, very impressive. Top three for you, Reese. Who do you got?
Right now, I've got the Chiefs, the Colts, and the Packers.
It's the same three for me as last week, even though the Lions didn't play. I've got Kansas City, Detroit, and Indy.
Indy has got to be one, and I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe winning. You said they play at Kansas City on like November
3 weeks,
just before Thanksgiving, right? Like the 23rd.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it'll take for us to fully believe in them. But they are a buzzsaw. I can't recall a time where a team like kind of came out of nowhere like this and has just been as dominant as they have been. So they've got to be number one for me. I wrestled with who to put at 2, so I just put Kansas City there because I think inevitably that's where they will be. And then we do Super Bowl right now. Obviously, I got them playing in the Super Bowl again because I'm never picking against that Wizard again. But then the third one's tricky. It's got to be in the NFC, I think. You could make an argument for Detroit. They were on the bye week, so I left them off this week. You could make an argument for Green Bay pretty easily, that it is Green Bay. And then sleeping out there is Philly, who, despite it looking clunky at times, is now 6-2. They dominated the Giants without AJ, and they're the Philadelphia Eagles. They're the defending champs. I ended up going with Green Bay, but I could argue for any three of those teams as the third one.
I don't know why the way you set that up, I thought you were going with Bake. Just the way you were setting,
yeah.
I thought for some reason, I did. I
think they've come back to earth a little bit. They've come back to earth a little bit offensively with them. But, yeah, I think those three in the NFC are different than the others. Super Bowl right now, Reese, who do you got?
I got the Chiefs and the Packers.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Detroit.
Yeah, I got Chiefs and Packers, too. I think I had that before the season, and right now that still feels
you did.
Pretty good to me that it'll be those two teams. You referenced the Justin Fields audio from the press conference Sunday. We're going to play that for you. And the notion of, because look at what the Cleveland Browns are trying to do, right? You're trying to land a quarterback. How do you land one and then put them in position to succeed? What can we learn from what, for example, the New England Patriots have done with Drake May? We'll get to all of that, and you'll hear Justin's comments. They're pretty emotional coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
College football is more chaotic than ever. New rivals, new rules, and a brand new season of Fansville. Are you fan enough to handle the drama? Then grab an ice-cold Dr. Pepper from your local Kroger and buckle up for the season. College football, it's a Pepper thing. College football fans, listen up. You can catch Carnell Tate and Dr. Pepper on November 17th. We'll be at the new Kroger at 7525 Gardwell Street in Powell from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Stop by to get your photo with Carnell Tate. See you there.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Columbus. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Active military or veteran planning your next career move? Columbus State's engineering technology programs prepare you for a career in Columbus's fastest growing fields. Our veteran services team will help you maximize your benefits and connect to a supportive community. Apply at cscc.edu/engineering tech.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment
on any Ford tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $200 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyears and save up to $200 more. See store for details.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Wake up and laugh with the Bob and Tom Show on the Fan 2.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
It says here they've won 5 Marconi Awards. I can't even spell Marconi. The Fan 2, Columbus's home of the Bob and Tom Show.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
When your furnace or air conditioner is broke, we come out that same day. Dormar, home the Tin Man.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun. Your way. That means you pick your wager. Will it be $1, $2, a crisp $20? Your call. Like picking your own numbers, use any inspiration you like. Birthdays, jersey numbers, you name it. And if you don't feel like choosing, there's the Super Quick Auto Pick. With regular promotions that'll get you more bang for your Keno buck, multiple ways to win, prizes galore, and live draws every few minutes. Anytime is the right time to get in on the Keno action. Keno is always fun, your way. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
Fan 7 weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Enjoy the beautiful day before big changes on Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies, breezy, and temperatures getting up right around 60, so that will add a bit of a wind chill. And for tonight, mostly clear overnight with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. For Wednesday, increasing clouds throughout the day with chances of rain increasing the second half of the day. It will be breezy again, and highs will struggle to get into the mid-50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, we had, Reese, you mentioned it and I mentioned it yesterday too. And there's a lot going on. Rich Cimini, who covers the New York Jets, had a tweet from Sunday about everything that happened Sunday down in Cincinnati. And the tweet was, the Jets won their first game on the day the franchise legend Nick Mangold died at 41. Consider Mason Taylor caught the game-winning touchdown, son of Jason Taylor, Mangold's teammate in 2010. Nick Folk kicked the game-winning PAT, Mangold's teammate from 2010 to 2016. The win happened about 47 miles from Centerville, Ohio, where Mangold was born. And then I added to that, oh yeah, and the quarterback was a Buckeye. So all of those things happened. So it was an incredibly emotional day for the Jets family, the Buckeye family, all of it. Add to that the comments from last week from Jets owner Woody Johnson on Justin Fields, where he threw Fields completely under the bus. And the only reason Fields started in this game is because Tyrod Taylor got hurt and he couldn't. And so then Fields gets inserted in and plays pretty dang well. We mentioned how vulnerable he was, how honest he was post-game. Let's have a listen.
I'm going to get pretty vulnerable right here, but this week I kind of, I found myself in my closet crying, on the ground, laying down, not because of the hardships, not because of the troubles. I felt like, I was built to handle that, and I was put in place to handle this situation. But in that moment when I was talking to my best friend, how hard it was, and just, not wavering faith-wise, I just had gotten a text from my sister and my stepmom, and it was just an encouraging text on, just keep going and keep spreading the faith. And they just sent me a link on social media. And I tell you guys all the time that I'm not on social media, so I didn't see it. So that was just it was just a sign from God for me to keep going, and that, I'm in the right place. Yesterday I was just praying over and over and over again, just one win. And, but all that to say is that, God is real, God is good, and everything that we go through in this life is for a purpose. So,
yeah, it's your heart breaks for him. He's one of my favorite players to ever play here. I didn't know him well, like I did some of the guys from previous years, but just admired how he went about his business. I admired how he took on what he took on here and delivered at the highest level over and over and over again in the 2 years that he was here. Admired the fact that he fought to play football. I mean, he was on Good Morning America, the Today Show, fighting for football after the Big Ten had canceled it. And he said, no, we want to play. And they made him the face of it. And then they did play. And it manifested with one of the greatest performances you've ever seen in the win against Clemson from him statistically. And then obviously there's a lot going on, and they lost to maybe an all-time Bama team in the national championship game. But if you go back to that draft, and there's audio of it somewhere, of James and I talking about it, and the one thing that we just were begging for was San Francisco. Like, just get him to Kyle Shanahan and go play in that system and play with that talent, and what would have happened. And one of the places that we would have said that we would have not wanted him to go was Chicago, because Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. They've never developed them. They don't have any history of it. It's really one of the worst quarterbacking histories in the history of the league is in Chicago. There's not much. I mean, it's Sid Luckman, it's Jay Cutler, it's Jim McMahon. They just haven't done it. It's more misses than anything else, and it's not looking great for Caleb Williams there either. But it does kind of outline the idea that for so many of these guys, where they land is more important than anything else. And does that place incubate them in a proper way? And that really Drake May is the outlier. That's the outlier. He was drafted to New England with a previous administration without really any weapons at all to work with. That administration was gone. They brought in Vrabel. They brought in McDaniels. They brought in Stephon Diggs. And he is achieving, despite being kind of kneecapped as a rookie. But most of the time, it works out the way that it worked out for Justin, the way that it worked out that it seems like it's working out right now for Caleb Williams. Can they dig him all the way out of it? And we are littered in the NFL right now with second, third, fourth chance quarterbacks, whether it's Baker, who a couple of weeks ago was one of the favorites to win the MVP, Sam Darnold, who's playing as elite at the quarterback position as you can, Daniel Jones in Indy. If you can get through it, you can see now the sun on the other side of the tunnel. But it takes an incredible amount of mental toughness to survive that. If you have talent, you will get second chances. But then it's really incumbent upon you to land in the right places so that those folks can find the good in you and almost untrain you for what the bad operations did. I think that's what happened with Darnold. Darnold got to San Francisco. He went to Minnesota. So you get Shanahan and O'Connell. Okay, fixed it. You think about Bake going to McVay. He was only there for a little more than a month, but it unearthed something in him. You think about Daniel Jones. Where'd he go after New York? O'Connell. Now he's in Indy, and now the light turns on. I don't know if that will ever happen for Justin. I don't know if he'll get that. He went from a Chicago situation, which was pretty brutal, to a Pittsburgh situation where they signed Russell Wilson in the same grouping, and now he's in New York. That's not exactly a place to succeed either, but he got $40 million, all of it guaranteed. He could throw it to Garrett Wilson. I understand why he took it. It was the easiest place to go and start. But would he have been better off going and backing up, let's say, Lamar Jackson in Baltimore and playing in that system? Maybe. And I think that's the thing that's tricky for these guys is when they get that second chance, they have to make sure they're prepared for it. All of that to be said, thrilled for him for Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think the NFL story of Justin Fields is finished by any stretch of the imagination. He's probably not a starter for a contender, but I still think he can play the suitable backup role with a team that contends after the deal with the Jets runs out. It does factor if they're going to keep Aaron Glenn around. Like that whole organization from ownership down is a mess.
Yeah.
So the sooner you can get out of Gotham, probably the better for Fields. I know the 2 years, $40 million, like the money's probably better there than it's going to be anywhere else. But I think just from what it sounds like for his sake, maybe they just part at the end of the season, go their separate ways. And then he is, maybe it is, but probably not Baltimore, because to Baker's point yesterday, they probably shouldn't have any other backups other than Tyler Huntley, as long as Tyler Huntley wants to be a backup. But Fields can pop around and be a suitable backup and maybe have some success, in that role.
I thought Justin going to Pittsburgh was going to work. I thought that was going to be the place because I think one of the biggest things for these quarterbacks is they need a stable organization. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's a more stable one in the NFL than the Pittsburgh Steelers in my lifetime. But I just don't think him and Arthur Smith worked. And Arthur Smith, thought Russell Wilson was better for his system. And, maybe there were some things that Russell did off the field better than Justin, and they just went that route. I think the perfect place for Justin Fields, where the offense is kind of set up to his talents, and I'm not saying he is as good as this guy, but I think Justin Fields being the backup to Jalen Hurts would be perfect.
There's another one.
I think that's the spot where it's easy, as you said, Bo, to take the money and want to be a starter and go somewhere. The New York Jets is not the organization I would want to be at.
What can Fields squat? Do we know that?
I don't know if it's 600, but I'm guessing a lot.
I'm guessing it's a lot. Either of those places. the reason I like Baltimore so much for him is I know Todd Monken, and I saw what he worked. Where the thing that's crazy about Justin was when you watched him here, he was incredibly accurate, incredibly so, and it felt like he saw everything. And then you kind of get broken a little bit in Chicago, and you got to try to rehabilitate it. And it's going to. His career has taken a very odd turn. Now, he's made a lot of money, and in the end, that's a big part of it. But I still would love to see him get a real opportunity to have a true quarterback mentorship, something he's never had. Did not have it in Chicago. I mean, he was begrudgingly put into... You guys remember that game in Cleveland where Miles sacked him 117 times?
Yeah, it was assault.
That was brutal. That was malfeasance. And Nagy threw him into that game. I'm not convinced Nagy ever wanted him.
And that's the thing with Fields and his future is because now if you go to other situations, coaches want to get their guy out of college.
Yeah.
Like I do think unless he's the proven veteran quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to do that kind of a signing if it's a new head coach. It's going to be I want my guy to college, I want to pick him, and I want to be right. I want to make this work. And if Fields isn't my guy, then I don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the part that's so tricky about all of it. I have a question for both of you. Would you ever fly into a hurricane? We'll get the answers in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Thanksgiving, as we know, is right around the corner. And what better way to say thank you than $500 off to a thinner, healthier you? Now through Thanksgiving, Awaken 180 is giving our great listeners $500 off your program. Visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Did you know Byers Airport Subaru is the oldest Subaru retailer in the entire country? And just like a veteran quarterback, we've been delivering winning drives for generations right here by the airport. At Byers, we treat every customer like part of the team because that's what keeps us in the game season after season. From tailgates to road trips, we've got the perfect Subaru to get you there. Kick off your next adventure at columbussubaru.com or visit us by the airport. Byers Auto, driving the next generation of buyers.
Parents, are your teens good with money? No. Switch to Huntington Bank and let's teach them. They get their own card, which they can add to their digital wallet, and you can monitor and set spending limits. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, this is Hurricane, I believe. I still don't know why they name these things, but it's Hurricane Melissa. It's off the coast of Jamaica. According to the Capital Weather Gang, perhaps the most ominous satellite presentation we've ever seen. A Cat 5 Melissa within 2 hours of landfall of Jamaica. That was an hour ago, so it's getting closer. Winds at 185 miles an hour, tied for the second highest on record. A pressure of 892, tied for the third lowest. Will be one of the strongest Atlantic storms to make landfall ever recorded. And then the Washington Post, meteorologist Matthew Capucci flew into the eye of the hurricane, the Category 5. It's equal parts scientifically stunning and horrifying from a humanitarian report, flying in one of two groups of hurricane hunters. Would you fly into the eye of a hurricane? I can tell you Tim May says yes. He's already texted me. He says yes. He's flying into it because he's a crazy man.
So my questions on this are, how did they get into the eye? Did they go up over top?
Looks like
and
it.
then get into it? Because I got to say, the video and the pictures of this look pretty darn cool. Being up there in the top of it, above it, and now you could see there were some parts there where the propellers are spinning. You can see the wind is pretty crazy in there, even though it looks kind of calm. But man, I don't know. Like, that looks pretty darn cool to me. That video, at least.
Yeah, I think I would, if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, you take out a life insurance policy maybe right before.
Odie.
Just to be safe.
Odie,
Yeah.
Just in case Dad goes away.
Just in case.
Now, there is the old Ron White line about the guy out in the hurricane. It's not that the wind is blowing. It's what the wind is blowing. And if, like, the hurricane somehow picked up a ship and it comes into there and that ship comes flying into your plane, I think we got problems.
Then you got some problems. In Tallahassee, we would get these. And we had I can't remember the dealership that did it, but we had a Hurricane Hummer. And it was at the time when...
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we had like an H3, or it was an H2. I can't remember. A Hummer H2 maybe. Yeah, it was the bigger one. It wasn't the H1. But it was an H2, and they had it. And what you would do is the meteorologist would drive to the coast to be like, Jim Cantori or one of those guys that goes to the front lines and everything's blowing everywhere around you. And I drove it once with meteorologist who was a buddy of mine, and we drove down there to the coast. And it wasn't anything like this. I don't even think I can't even remember which one it was. I can't even remember if it was a hurricane or a tropical storm, or I don't even remember what it was. But I remember it was some sort of one of those things, and we drove into it. And it was one of the most humbling experiences of my life because I've never felt smaller. When Mother Nature gets wound up like that, the scope of it is impossible to wrap your head around. And you just feel completely helpless. And what you basically realize is if this takes a turn, there ain't anything I can do here. There's nothing I can do. And, we've had tornadoes in Ohio. There was a horrific one in Toledo years ago. There's a helplessness to that. It feels like we start to get more of them now than we used to get. When I first moved here back in 2007, it feels like they pop up a little bit more. But the scope of a hurricane or a tropical storm is impossible to wrap your head around. The size of it, the wind. The most terrifying thing is, and this, by the time that it reached like my house at the time, I remember I was in a condo. It was a second floor condo, and so I didn't have anything to worry about. But I just remember it raining. It rained 11 inches one day, and you just kept seeing the water go up and up and up. And what are you going to do? At that point, it's too late. You should have been gone a long time ago. And nobody ever leaves. They all stay. And that's the way that it goes. But the helplessness of it is crazy. And that water rising slowly over the course of hours. And that's that's by the time the wind has already come and gone. That's just some of the remnant stuff that it rains forever. So it's terrifying stuff. And it looks like Jamaica is going to get bombed with this thing. And I mean, our thoughts and prayers with the folks down there, because my God, you want to talk about helplessness. You're on an island, man, literally.
Bo, I think of that a lot because, what was it, the fall of 22 there, where the Daytona Beach got hit with like two different hurricanes within a 4 or 5 month span. One actually hit them directly, and then the other came from the other coast and came right across it. But we have a place down there right on the beach, and it took a bunch of places. It took our pool deck and hot tub and everything away because of all the flooding and water. And it's just like, man, there's nothing you can do in that situation. Like, if it happens and you happen to stay, there's nothing you can do. You're toast.
No, pray. Yeah, if you're someone who believes in those types of things, pray and hope for the best. It's funny. So of my three boys, the one who's the most cautious by far is Beamsy. And the others, like, they'll talk. NBC will be like, "Yeah, I'm going to live in Southern California. I'm going to do all of that." And Bootsy loves Florida or wherever, so I'm going to live there. And I'm like, "Beamsy, where are you going to live?" He goes, "Midwest." I said, "Why?" I said, "It's warm year round in these other places." He goes, "No natural disasters, Dad."
Smart. That and Florida. Whenever I hear somebody like buys a mega mansion, I go, well, "What's that insurance like on that?"
There was a story. They had that incredible hit in the Fort Myers area, And I don't even know how you get insurance anymore. I got an aunt who lost her place in it. I mean, how do you even do it?
Well, I can tell you, like, just talking about that, us losing our pool deck, like, we all had to chip in and pay for that because you can't get hurricane insurance. You can get hurricane insurance on the building, but you cannot get it on the other things.
On the rest of the structure.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine who is here, he lives in the Tampa area. His whole house got wiped out. They're doing something where I think it was with FEMA, where they're building, you'll pay some of it, insurance will pay some of it, but they're taking your house and they're building it on stilts. So they take a house on the ground and then they put it 10 feet in the air.
Does that make it sturdier?
Sure doesn't seem like it.
I don't know. But he's doing it, and his house was doing it. It's like a year process, and they take your house that's on the ground and they move it up 10 feet. So that's the way that it goes.
I'm good in Columbus.
Yeah. We'll put up with no sun in January.
Go to Northwest Columbus, I'll tell you what.
He's doing just fine.
This fall's been really nice, hasn't it?
This fall's gorgeous. Beautiful colors.
It's a little snow,
It's fine.
once every 6 months.
Yeah, nothing to see here. Jackets are at Buffalo tonight. 3-1 on the road this season. Bake, you watch them closer than anybody else. What are you looking for tonight?
Just want them to kind of continue to play like they did in that Tampa game and the Dallas game. In the Pittsburgh game. And you know what? It's crazy. They lost 5-1, but a lot of that Washington game, we talked about that. They played pretty good early on in that game, and they just didn't get any reward. And then Washington scored once, and the floodgates kind of opened. I just want to see kind of the same stuff. I'd like to see Chinnikov continue to play the way he has. Denton Matejchuk has been awesome so far this year. They've won 2 of their last 3, Bo, and Zach hasn't even had a point in the last 3 games. Last year, when Zach didn't have a point, they were 5-20-4. So getting a couple wins when Zach hasn't scored, and it's not like Zach has played bad, right? But you know the offense in the point production is going to come from him. And continue to rely on this number 1 line and continue to rely on Adam Fantilli a little bit. He was 5th in ice time among forwards in the last game.
Yeah.
I need to see that bumped up. I mean, when this kid gets going, he looks dynamic. He looks different on the ice. Voronkov's playing well. Marchenko's playing well. We need to have Fantilli playing well, and I need to see him more on the ice.
And if you're wondering why a 6:45 puck drop tonight in Buffalo with fan coverage at 6:15, the NHL's got their Tuesday Frozen Frenzy tonight. They're playing every team in the league from 6 o'clock until 11 o'clock Eastern. You have face-offs every 15 minutes.
It's cool. I like when we try things, when we're trying to get attention, we're trying to be seen. Throw things at the wall and see if it sticks. From the Jackets' perspective, they're 4 up, 4 down. So this is basically what the franchise has been at its best the whole time they've been here. At their best, they're, win half, lose half. That's chase the 8. That's all of that. And I'm fine with that right now. I agree with Brother Bone. I heard him this morning talking about it. I'm fine with 500 hockey right now. Don't get buried. And build towards something bigger. And so when you look at this one tonight against Buffalo, guess what? They're 4-4-1. So this is one of those ones where this should be a 2-pointer tonight on the road. Go handle your business. You've been getting great goaltending for the most part through the 8 games. Make sure that it's supported. Get the result and get back to work tomorrow night back here. That's got to be the attention on this one. And you can't do must win. You play 82 games. But this is one of those, these are the type of games you're going to look back on and say, did we get those 2 points then? You don't want to be chasing them in March. So far, they're not. And there are signs of positive light. And I'm with you on the Fantilli thing, obviously, Big. I mean, let the dog eat. Let him eat, man.
When he just lets it loose and takes off on the ice, it looks different.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's got a little different level of talent. We'll get 3 things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Daily Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is a daily show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Flight Auto Glass. We saw Brandon Innes with a TD catch at Wisconsin in the last game. He's also served as a team captain. I know this is a guy that has a lot of value in a lot of different ways to your team, Ryan.
Yeah, Brandon's somebody who really has a voice. He's very confident. Somebody who, in high school, not only was a receiver, but played quarterback for his team when they needed him to. And he's just somebody that's been outspoken. He's been verbal in his leadership and was elected a captain. And does a lot of things for us, and it was great to see him get that touchdown catch. And you can see the reaction of his teammates when he did, and it's a good catch. I mean, you double catch that; it's an incompletion. So, good to see him make that catch, and hopefully that's going to catapult him into the last half of the season.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment. Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Flight Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safe Flight Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Ryan, we were talking about Brandon Innes. He's one of your team captains. We've discussed it before, but if you would go about the process of selecting your captains each year.
During the summer, right before the last week of preseason camp, we go about the business of selecting captains. But it really goes back to the offseason. We have our leadership committee, and the team votes on some of the leaders for the winter, and then once spring ball's over, we do it again for the summer. So by the time we get to a captains, the guys have been in those roles, and the team has seen them handle those roles and how they've led, and I think it's been good. I think our captains for the last couple of years have been really solid because of that. It's not like you're just selecting captains and then you see how they do during the season. We really try to train them in their leadership and then put them in situations to learn and grow. So feel strong about our captains and our selection process.
Okay, there's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Around here, it's all or nothing, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, like the best-selling Toyota Camry. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Camrys. Or lease a new 26 Camry LE for $279 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. when you need a company you can trust.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do you have in the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, if it was your favorite team playing in the game, would you have stayed up until nearly 3 a.m. to watch the 18-inning World Series Game 3? 44% say yes, definitely. 29% say no chance. 25% say would have tried to.
I mean, they were mine, and I didn't. I think if it was for a chipper, like if it was for the banner, then maybe you do. Maybe you do. I mean, like if the Ohio State basketball team is playing in the national championship game and it goes to 10 overtimes, I'm probably sitting through it. The hard thing about baseball is you got to get 3 outs and you got to score the run. It can go on forever. There's no end in sight. And so I think that's what makes it so tricky. So I didn't last night, but I think it was for a title. I probably would have.
I can tell you this. I probably would have tried. I can tell you if it was the Blue Jackets, I definitely would. And you remember you had that with the Jackets a couple years ago. It was just lucky that the game started at 3 p.m., but you had the 7 overtime game that went till like 9:45 at night. You had 6 hours and 45 minutes of hockey.
So that's the one. Jackets in a Stanley Cup final in a Game 7. You're staying up for all of it. Like, you're not missing it, Reese. No chance. Or the Guardians playing 18 innings in the World Series? You're staying up.
No, yeah. If it was the Guardians in the World Series, I'm going to try to.
Yeah.
In all of those instances, like say the Buckeyes are playing the Big Ten tournament semifinal, or in the Big Ten tournament final, and it goes to 6 overtimes. And I'm going to try to do my damnedest, understanding my limitations.
Boys, I got this weird Monday night flu. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to be able to come in tomorrow.
Stay up until 3 a.m. watching the damn.
You just stay up, probably. All right, time for 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
Last night, number one for me, last night we had the third practice for the 4th graders. So this is Bootsy's team. And we're getting into a bad habit already where our kids are, so we have to share courts. So like one of the other teams is practicing on one end and our team's on one end. So it's really hard to like keep their attention because they're looking, I mean, they're 11, 10 years old. They're looking at the other end and they want to see what those kids are doing. And I guess they're 9 or 10, whatever it is. And so last night, one of our kids, I love all these kids. They're great kids. One of them came up to me. He goes, we're like 10 minutes into practice. Coach, can we play 3-on-3 like they're doing? No, you can't. We got to do the drill. So then you find yourself like negotiating with 10-year-olds. If you lock in on learning the offense, then perhaps we can do the 3-on-3. So it's just funny how every year at this age, you get that. All they really want to do is play basketball. But of course, you have to get work done. Otherwise, you're just going to lose a lot. And it's one of the joys of coaching 10-year-olds.
First thing for me, I haven't seen Ohio State football say anything about the Wear Black game Saturday against Penn State in terms of what they're going to be offering fans. But the hockey team's doing something pretty cool. So they're ranked 15th in the country. 4-2 on the season are the men's hockey Buckeyes. They're going to host number 4 Penn State Thursday and Friday at 6:30 in their Friday game. The first 2,000 fans in attendance are going to get a black The Towel. So that's a start. It's going to be so difficult.
I think if you want to do that towel thing, you almost have to give out 100,000 every game.
Yeah.
That's it, because people aren't going to bring them. So you almost have to give them out every game.
Yeah, it has to be like a one and done. It's not going to be an every game type thing. I just a little more perspective on how long that game 3 of the World Series was last night. It started at 8 p.m. I believe it ended, 2:45, 2:50 in the morning, something like that. The Commanders played a whole football game, Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
They boarded a flight to head home. They had a delay, so the flight didn't take off on time, and they still landed back at home in D.C. at 3:38 in the morning, not too long after the baseball game was done.
That's wild. that is wild. Speaking of the baseball game, I saw this morning. Shohei Ohtani has a $700 million deal with the Dodgers at the moment, and that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. And you say to yourself, well, how could you get a return on investment of that? You also have to remember that an entire country is watching all of this outside of our own. Can you imagine what this is like in Japan with that guy?
No.
And how many jerseys and hats. And I mean, I have to imagine that this is one of the rare times where a nearly $1 billion investment is paying off in spades.
A lot of New Balance cleats over there.
Yes.
I don't know if he was part of the parade of arms that went out there last night, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto is also on that. I mean,
yes,
that's such a good job out of the Los Angeles Dodgers and just recognizing the talent and the other markets that they can capture. It takes the kind of investment, but it pays off, which kind of brings me to my second thing. And we've given Penn State a lot of criticism over the years for what do you want to be as a program. And I was thinking about it earlier today. We're going to talk about the James Franklin buyout, because this does fly in the face of what I've thought of Penn State as they want to be kind of serious, but not a serious organization as an Ohio State. But paying $50 million for one guy to not coach your teams is pretty serious, in my opinion.
It is.
Second thing for me, speaking of the World Series, ESPN had like a TV set up on the field yesterday while it was warming up. And I don't know if you've seen the video making the rounds of Carl Ravitch almost getting smoked by a line drive foul ball. Like, what are we doing, ESPN?
What are we doing?
You don't need to be on the field. You can get the same effect if you're up on the concourse. Or guess what? Major League Baseball figured this out. Why don't you put a couple nets up around them so they don't have to worry about this? If that ball would have been 6 inches to the left, Carl Ravitch might be in a hospital right now.
You're exactly right. I wasn't going to go here, but you brought up New Balance. Give them some flowers, number 3 on this. The catchy commercials that you see that they're doing over and over again in all the sporting ads, but also their talent acquisition. They landed Ohtani and Cooper Flagg. That's getting it done. I'm going to tell you right now, my kids, when they looked like NBC's wearing New Balance for basketball. Like, it's crazy how that company, which was synonymous for like old dad shoes, is like an it company now.
They have Cameron Brink, too.
They have Cameron Brink. They got Kawhi Leonard, Jamal Murray.
Win in itself.
Darius Garland. You're right. It is. She looks great in the ads.
I saw because everybody's got a podcast that Aroldis Chapman, Yankees reliever, or I guess Red Sox reliever and Yankees reliever and Cubs reliever, was on a podcast saying he'd rather retire than go back to New York. Brother, everybody's got a price. Like, if they'll pay you enough, you go back.
Got to start with the Reds. I'm a little hurt that you left my ball club off.
Sure,
there.
them too.
Reese, final thing for me, the Ryan Day press conference coming up next. Rothman and Ice will have immediate reaction following.
You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead.